amazing thing.
It's key.
Hello, Internet. How is everyone doing? Sorry we're a little late today. Some people had some things they need to wrap up, put their decks of cards away, and all those things. And had a couple of brief little chats. Reason why my camera looks a little weird today is because my primary cam decided to not work this morning. So I'm going to use an alternative. And thankfully my alternative is not too hard. It's basically I just use a Zoom friend because I'm a cast member short-ish, I guess. Guest short, whatever you want to call it. Anyways, how is everyone doing? It's been a week. How's everyone in the cast doing?
Good.
Like
Glad
you
it's
said,
the
it's
weekend.
been a week.
Exactly.
Yes. Glad it's the week. Yeah, it's the weekend. Had some funs. I posted a picture on my Instagram today for a puzzle of a collection of things I acquired in the mail today. That's a puzzle, so that will be something I will try and work on later and get a video up. Let's see. Yeah. Real quick, listening to those wonderful sounds of stream beats, and now we'll switch over to the Sirenscape. Of course, tech is a gift for having everything off for a couple of days.
It's fine. It's going to take a minute for the bot to catch up anyway.
Always does. Always does.
A minute? You're being generous.
I know. Hey, there it went.
That going quick. Out there is something else off today. What is off today now?
What is that? Oh, that's copyrighted. Sorry.
Yep, can't be doing that. That's why all those DCMAs. Uh-oh. There's something not playing. Oh,
User error.
maybe. Just a tad.
Shh. The DM doesn't make errors.
No.
Yeah, right.
DM is infallible.
Yeah, right. I'm sorry. Yeah, I'm gonna have to raise the flag on that, and y'all know what flag I'm raising. So because
The
I make
BS flag.
a lot of mistakes, and so part of today is acknowledging those mistakes and trying to remedy them. So feel free for a different kind of session today. But I will more than make up for it going into your next phase, because I was reading up on that.
Uh-oh.
I don't know if I'm excited or scared.
Yeah,
I
that's a little.
I know, right?
A little bit, a little bit, a little bit, shui maha.
So yeah, now that's
Right.
Is that working now? No, buttons still ain't working there, but I believe they're working here. So yeah, now we can
Push the red
officially
button.
switch over to Sirenscape.
Sirenscape.
There we go. Should be getting the Sirenscape stuff now. There we go. All the little green bars are popping up and down. Okay, so
Shrag's doing some beats.
get some beats. That's still one of my favorite things from the podcast. Quick little anecdote, and then we'll get to it. First 60 or so episodes of the podcast were not about 20 or so episodes of my podcast were all audio only. We would record them, and then I would edit and upload them, and upload a raw version for Rye to listen to. Well, one of the ones, he makes a comment about dropping the beat, and I had found some free music to use for intros, and I timed it to where when he said that, it literally dropped into some kind of techno beat. And unfortunately, the funny part is he was out running, because he does a lot of running now. He was out running, and then when he heard that, he actually tripped and almost bit it while he was running. Because he wasn't expecting it.
You gotta
Because he had
love
no
that.
idea. It was just that that pre kind of conversation rolling, and then he's like, "Yeah, I'm just gonna drop some beats," and then I went, "Yeah, here we go, drop."
That's funny.
One of my favorites so far. Anyways,
Fun with editing.
so yeah, shout out to Sirenscape. Go to sirenscape.com for all your background music and soundboards you can use for your tabletop experience. This is a cobbled together set that I'm using for Shadow Watch. It's a combination of several Underdark themed sound sets. So enjoy. Alrighty. Scheduling side of things are still on track. Tonight we'll have challenge accepted at 8 p.m. and tomorrow morning Sunday with Scoob. I had a request from my last video to paint a dragon. Unfortunately, I do not have any dragon miniatures. So that will have to wait for another day. But I do have a Warhammer dragon miniature, but it's not been assembled yet, and I haven't done it because, you know, things. Anyways, that being said, alrighty. Anything else I'm missing? Yeah, all the things. If you're new to the channel and you enjoy the content, please hit the like button. And if you want to hear about more stuff we're doing, please hit that subscribe and hit that bell notification. Be notified when more videos come out. Trying to get to 100 subscribers. Once we hit on 100 subscribers, we will start doing giveaways during our streams. I have a stack of things from Mythical Armory to give away. I actually want to get rid of them, only because I want to share the love and the cool little ideas there, and then try to get more stuff. Plus, I think so help us get to 100 subscribers. Tell your friends, share it out, all your social medias, all those things. Feed the YouTube algorithm. Not like feeding Avray chocolate. There might actually be a benefit to this.
Yes.
As
And
I
hit the thumbs up.
It doesn't help to feed Avray.
No, it doesn't.
Really?
It doesn't hurt
That-
either.
Addictive little is not happy with anything you do.
I don't know. I still hold true that Vorpal board is a little crueler than Avray, but Vorpal board is also younger. It's only been out for about a year.
Never had to deal with that one.
I did it for GaryCon because GaryCon had entered an agreement, and the game I played with that Sunday morning with Steve McFarlane, he was using it, and I was a rogue, and I could not roll above a 10 for 10 different dice rolls. So it was nasty. Quite a few of them were below 5. So yeah. Lots of fun.
Although, to be fair, sometimes home dice do that too.
This is true. And the nice thing about Vorpal board is it takes your phone and allows you to scan in your physical tabletop stuff. So you could use it as a virtual tabletop. You could actually as a player, go in and kind of orbit around as a 3-dimensional space looking at the miniatures. It's really cool, really kind of rough because it's only been out for about a year, but it's definitely something worth exploring later. Because I've been thinking about trying to find a way to do a physical table again with actual physical products, and that seems like a really good one as opposed to trying to, and because it's better than Roll20 being a strictly top down. This one is literally you post a camera right there looking at your terrain, and then take a scanned miniature and plop it in, and then as a player move the miniature around. There's a little bit of little bit of skew there, but you know it's decent. It wasn't bad.
That sounds awesome.
Yeah, you want to check that out? Go to Vorpal board, and check that out. Kind of like when you think of Vorpal sword, only it's a Vorpal board, so the spelling is the same.
I'm gonna say, don't use your head.
So I have a question.
Answer.
What are the odds of rolling 4 d20s and having them all come up 12?
Very low.
I'm sure there is a statistical answer to that. Unfortunately, I am not a mathematician.
That's what I was going to say.
aspire
Shad,
be
you're
a
the numbers
physicist, so I
man.
have a little bit more imagination.
I
And
don't want to even know what the odds are of that.
That's,
Technically speaking, the same as rolling 4 20s or 4 1s on d20s.
yeah, that's true.
I don't even know if I want to touch the dice. They are cursed.
What would that be, like 1 in?
they can't truly be cursed unless you had lunch with Will Wheaton and let him roll your die.
Oh yeah.
The curse is real.
That would have those
Sure it
crushed.
is. I'm sure it is.
The curse is real.
Alrighty, I think we've been kind of goofing off enough. If you're watching the stream and want to interact with the stream, this is a quick thing I need to point out now. Your viewer interaction options are listed in the description below, including a link for how you can do those interactions. One note and change to the way we do things. And that is, I love your support, all of you watching. You guys are awesome and amazing about, the propensity of wild magic in the Underdark. It's great. However, there are times where the wild magic has the potential to go really, really bad for narrative. So I'm going to take executive privilege and say that I will try to honor all of your interactions, but if that interaction comes at a moment that is particularly important to the narrative, like having a discussion with a family that just had a tragic loss, and knowing that there's a chance a fireball could go off in the disheveled house, I will execute and either make a change to the result. I did not have to last time, but I will try to use best judgment, and if I make a mistake, I will accept that and acknowledge it, but I will try and utilize them as much as possible. That being said, there's also a less wordy disclaimer in the list. So please, if you want to keep influencing the stream, by all means, you can do that. You are the Tricksters, and the universe is a cruel and dangerous place. One other scheduling note, I apologize, had not had a chance. Next Saturday, the 17th, I believe, I have to go to the DMV to do things, and that appointment is at 8 in the morning. But as I'm sure we all know, regardless of what state we live in, Johnny, I can't speak for you, but I imagine, I hope it's a little bit better, or it could be just as bad as us in the States.
Fine. I live in the 51st state. It's fine.
While we anticipate to be out of there before they close on a Saturday, I do not want to chance fate. So there may not be a Shadow Watch game next Saturday, just depending on how it goes. If by some miracle, then yeah, we may still do a stream, but we'll play that by ear as it comes. So, forewarning, next Saturday might be a quieter afternoon for you, or it might not, depending on what happened. Okay, all of that out of the way. Anything I missed? No? Cool. Alrighty, let's get back into it, because I have been rambling on enough. Alrighty. So, where we left off last time is the party had traveled through the Underdark, and you know what? I'm going to switch over, because we will discuss the map in this recap. Oh, not that one. That one. The party had traveled down a stairwell into an area of Dwendalion that is below the main city. It's kind of what referred to as the cellar, or the basement, whichever you feel like. While in this area, Obsidian took lead and navigated through the city. Through this section, trying to find where these mind flayers are. The Myconids had asked the party to go and deal with. Some creative use of spells and stealth, and Obsidian was able to find a way into where the mind flayers were, and just as he called in reinforcements to start the battle, all kinds of shenanigans ensued. There were sheep, there were lightning, there was random creatures getting sick, all kinds of things.
Very frightening.
As such, the party continued to work through, and they managed to defeat a whole slew of trolls, roughly 10 trolls in this area. Unfortunately, the ruckus and the speed at which the party dealt with the trolls, there was a sense of strong magic, and that was all they found was the trolls. Searching through, they did get the impression that there were mind flayers in this area, conducting experiments on a dust of some type. And they found a lab which had a lot of really cool things, and they found the sleeping quarters, and they managed to go through all the chests, find a pretty good stash of loot. Being thoroughly exhausted from their encounter with the trolls, the party had barred the door, shut everything down, and decided to take a much needed rest where they could rest and recuperate. And this is where we're going to pick up. First thing is as you wake up in the morning, you feel oddly refreshed and excited, and realize that your abilities have somewhat changed. And we will start off with everyone leveling up to level 9. Right now, just a quick hit point thing. You can work out your spells and other stuff later.
Oh.
We'll just take a real quick moment and do the hit die right now on stream with everybody watching. Since not many people have seen me do level ups, I do level ups kind of like as the rules say, roll your next hit die, and if the value of the die is over half, then you take that value. If it's below half of the die, then you take half the die. So for an example, if your hit die is a D10 and you roll a 2, you would take 5. If you roll a 7, you take 7.
So when you roll a 1 on a D10, you take 5.
Yep.
I remember the days when you could take 20, but I think that was a totally different rule.
Oh, that's awful. That's just awful.
It's only half as bad as it could have been. Actually, no, it's twice. No, hang on. Yeah, it's just terrible.
Okay, so I've never leveled up a cleric.
Oh, shoot. That's the wrong
I don't
house.
remember what my hit die is. Is it a D8?
A cleric is a D8, yes.
Okay.
And I need to make a correction on that too, because I'm not leveling up the paladin, so it should have been a D8.
Yes, if you're multi-class, then you have to pick the class you're going to level up in and roll the hit die for that class.
And if they're both the same hit die, do you just pick one or the
you don't
other?
get to double your hit die. Nice try.
D&D Beyond hates me because on the D8 I rolled a 1 as well.
Oh,
really does
that's
not like you
just
today.
hysterically funny.
So I rolled a 4.
I get 4 on that then.
Okay, so you take 4.
Yep.
Oh, that's
I got a
just funny.
6.
Okay, that's going to be a D6 then. This is going to be hilarious.
Hilarious.
Let's see, D6. Roll that bad boy.
See, it's going to be that kind of day.
I guess we tempted fate with making fun of Avre.
Indeed, we did.
I was D&D Beyond. I rolled a 1.
Well, that's what I was going to say. Avre has now infiltrated, infected, whatever you want to call it,
Infected.
D&D Beyond. Because I used to have good rolls on D&D Beyond until they merged with Avre, and now not so much.
Well, all I can say is it's a good thing I've got a constitution of 16.
Yes, because when you roll the hit die, you do add your con modifier to that value too. On each
Okay.
roll.
When I do the level up, it looks like it's adding hit points to me automatically.
What
Yeah,
you
it's your
should
con
do is go
modifier.
back to your
It's just the con modifier?
initial one and make sure it's not fixed and set to manual.
It is manual. I just double checked that.
Then
It
go
just adds
over-
your con modifier.
Yeah, just add your con. You have to go into manage hit points, and where you have your dice value, you need to add your latest dice roll to it.
Thank you. Okay, there we go.
Oh my.
So everyone's got that. Class abilities, spell abilities. Shragnaz, your book will reveal some new spells that you could start to learn because your book is an ancient artifact that is far more intelligent than you understand. And since it's been training you in the ways of the wizard, it continues to surprise and amaze.
I thought from earlier you were going to say it's way more intelligent than you are, and I'm like, yeah, fair comment. Nat and I have an understanding. It's all good. She told me what to do and I do
at
it.
some point, and as you kind of think about it, Nat gives you kind of a knowing smile.
Although technically speaking, I think actually I wake up really rather grumpy this morning.
For the rest of you, let's see. Obsidian's a rogue because you leveled up rogue, right?
Leveled up rogue, so I got expertise, so I was able to take 2 more expertises.
Okay.
Nice.
So deception and deception and perception. So now I have a passive of 20. Mine was easy.
Will and Nari are cleric and paladin, so for them it's like a communion, a praying or a communion. Will their gods will enlighten them on their new things. Oh wait a minute, no, you didn't level up paladin, you leveled up rogue.
Yeah,
right?
I was gonna say in this particular case, I leveled up rogue, so I have to choose a rogue archetype at this point. But I'll have to think about that.
Yep, think about that, and we'll mess with that later. Alrighty.
Yep.
So
I officially get 5th level spells.
What?
Yay.
question
Let's
is, do you
see.
have any notes
There-
on what on 5th level cleric spells you can read, or commune with your god, commune with your deity to impart the knowledge of those 5th levels?
So should I wait on picking a 5th level spell now?
I
or
would
should
wait till a little later until you have a chance, unless you want to take the time as part of your kind of resting up and packing up now to commune, but I don't want to break up the flow of the session too much. So
Yeah, it's going to take a while for me to read through all these.
here, I thought you guys had roadmapped all your stuff to 20 and we're just sitting there waiting on me to sit there and say you could level up.
Just Shad.
Oh,
Shad's the only one that does that.
I don't like
Oh,
that.
no. Shrag was already this morning. I mean, he's still going to probably the residue of that poison left over, so he's going to wake up grumpy and way smarter than he was before. So now he's just going to be a real penny or smart guy.
Oh, great.
Great.
Fun times. Alrighty.
More like
Indeed,
real
indeed.
life.
So to
Goblin.
recap, there was a bunch of items found in the chests, and going through the documents. Anari, you said you were when we left off, you said you were transcribing the lab notes so that could sit there and go with them. While you were doing that, you stumbled across, looking at the stuff. There also what appears to be a journal of some type.
Okay.
In the effects that were in the quarters. And looking through the journal and looking at the notes and you with your comprehend languages and everything, realizing that this was a complete documentation of the experimentations they were doing with this dust. And they reference the dust is in the silk bags that you found. It has the effect of making you just completely messing with your cognitive thoughts, making you extremely disagreeable and lack of and don't trust, and which that is actually how kind of Shrag was acting before y'all went to sleep, based on where he went along. So it's all coming together. There's also indication that this lab was set up specifically because the dust could be affecting and could affect the elder brain and is actually could be kind of dangerous. So this is a controlled environment for this, which tells you that there is a larger mind flayer colony nearby, but how far away is unsure because they don't really tell you distance away, just that it's far enough away that they could easily get back to the colony if needed be, but also far enough where the colony's influence cannot be affected by this dust. Additionally, their journal also indicates that the reason for the experimentation is because they were contracted to experiment with the dust. And looking through that information, it's referencing. It doesn't reference the organization by name, but it's kind of colloquially referred to as the Black Network, and that this was a contract to develop the dust and for some kind of, lack of a better phrasing, weaponize it for some type of project. They don't go into a lot of detail other than they agreed to do this for reasons that the writer of the journal doesn't know, but just that, hey, this was a very lucrative agreement, so they decided to take up the job.
Would I know about the Black Network?
What does your background say? Does your background have any indication? But then the only other reference would be if Obsidian and you had any kind of conversations in your traveling about that. It depends on how how much Obsidian was willing to share in his, as far as experience. But you're all kind of aware of the Black Network. It's kind of that shadowy, almost like an Illuminati type thing. It's there, it's whispered, and there's more rumor than actual fact. And as far for a lot of it, if you discuss this with the party, Obsidian is going to make a very subtle kind of reaction to the point that only Will and Anari would notice this reaction because your passives are so high.
So based on the information that I'm gathering, and I'm reading this before everybody else is awake. If I
Everybody else
understood you
is kind of
correctly.
about, but we're starting with you because that's where we left off because you have that.
Yeah, I would have been doing that during my
that 4-hour rest, and you were working
and
on
they
this,
resting.
So.
Yeah, okay. So with that in mind, I think before sharing with the whole party as a complete whole, I'll set the journal aside and kind of hide it away to talk it over with Obsidian first.
Okay.
And kind of see if he's the one that had kind of told me a little bit about the Black Network. But I will share the information about the notes with everybody and just say that, hey, this is the dust that they were working on. And I've transcribed the copies and so forth so that we've got a copy and we can distribute the information. But it looks like this is what the Myconids wanted us to recover. And so I think we have what we need and we can return to give the king so that he can start working on an antidote.
One other thing of note, while you were in the overnight, so to speak, while everyone was resting and you were doing your watch and working on that, your passive perception being high enough, you notice at some point throughout the hours, everyone else was asleep. You noticed a very faint kind of tapping sound through the rock. It almost like it not quite as intense as like an impact tremor, but it was just kind of a rhythmic tapping for a little while.
What part of the room do I sense that through?
You would sense that through the eastern wall.
The eastern wall, so back toward the corridor?
Yep.
Would it be enough to trigger a detect good and evil kind of a spell?
What does detect good and evil do?
Actually, let me make sure that I had that prepared. I may not have had that prepared. No, I had protection, not detect. Okay. Never mind. What about divine sense?
Was the divine
paladin
sense
feature? As an action, you can detect good and evil until the end of your next turn. You can sense anything affected by the Hallow spell or know the location of any celestial fiend, undead within 60 feet that is not behind total cover.
The undead part, it was kind of a passing thing, but it was at the range. The tap
very into the range. So possible ping on undead at the very edge of the range,
but no pings on anything else while the tapping was there and then gone.
Okay. Being that I want to protect the rest of the group and don't want to necessarily risk anything, I'm not going to exit the room to investigate. I'll just make a mental note and we'll check it out in the morning.
Okay. So now we'll come into the other three as they wake up from their rest and feel revitalized and rested for the most part, because this room is actually very lavishly decorated. So it's a very plush and posh, hope I'm using the word right, posh type of setting. So what is it you guys do as you come to consciousness and take stock of the room and everything that has happened over the last couple of days?
Quick question.
Answer.
Based on my reading of the notes, the dust that's acting on Shrag, Would that be considered then a poisoning effect?
Yes, because it is a poison effect.
So right before the end, when everybody's going to be starting to stir and everything, I'm going to kind of sneak over to Shrag and lay on hands, give him 5 points to remove poison.
Okay. So when
He
Shrag
will-
comes to consciousness, he feels refreshed and just a little kind of out of it for a moment, but then just kind of shakes it off from the way he went to sleep the night before.
No, actually, I felt good this morning. It's okay.
Oh,
Strange.
Shraggy, how do you start the next day?
I'm gonna get up and stretch. She's like, nah. What are you looking at me like that for? Hmm? Oh.
She points to the book.
I'll flip the book open, flick through a few pages, and come to a new page I've not seen before. And I'm gonna just read through it, and I'm just gonna sit up and just like, that makes way more sense. I get it. I'll then look around the room, just like, what you were looking at. Joke, that was yesterday.
Will, what about you?
So she usually is up pretty early, but she's sleeping in a little bit more today. She's like one of the last ones to wake up, and she just kind of does like the creepy, like sits up a little too easily. And you notice her holy symbol is glowing, and when she opens her eyes are like glowing for a second, and it just looks like sunlight coming out of her eyes, and then blinks a couple times. Wow, I feel really rested from that sleep. I guess I really needed to rest. I feel powerful for some reason. This is nice. I feel like I spent all night in a sunny field or something like that.
Feel more perceptive today.
You guys all look like you slept really well too. You guys feeling all right?
Called having a proper bed for once.
Yeah, were there 4 beds in here, or did 2 of us end up on the floor?
Son,
There were only 2 sleeping mats, extremely fine quality.
So I was on the floor. Got it.
Yeah, cats are used to coming for the foot of the bed, aren't they?
that's what I was going to say. Cat's curled up on the rug, you know.
Wow. Wow.
Anarion, did I hear you talking about the dust? It seems
Yeah,
like what we were looking for.
Yeah, I was reading through the notes, and I'll share the notes around, and I've transcribed copies and kept a series of copies for us as a group. But it says here that they were practicing or experimenting with this dust, and it's apparently to make creatures more aggressive and violent. And I think this is exactly what the Myconid King was looking for. So we should probably take these dust pouches back to him so that he can create an antidote. And I don't know. The notes might be worth selling somewhere if we get back, or giving it to Tinkerbell so that she can take a look at it. She might be interested in this kind of a thing.
Yeah, I might be interested in it too. If I can get better at alchemy, I might be able to make something like that.
Or at least an antidote for
Just
it.
make sure Shraggy doesn't get into it, because man, you were in a bad mood.
She's always cranky.
Yeah, go on, you shove your nose in and see how you turn out.
Yeah, you don't want to see me grumpy.
Hey,
No.
Will, did you clean that room out yesterday? Did you take all the stuff out of that lab? You got everything you wanted?
I grabbed as much as we could, all of the supplies, all the notes. I didn't grab all the like mortars and pestles and bowls and things, because I have my travel elf.
The travel.
Pet.
Okay, that's cool. And this Shrag's gonna hop off the bed, and he's gonna just toddle out the door and just wander around. And a couple minutes later, you're gonna hear this large explosion, and he chucks a fireball in the room.
Well, before you do that,
Yes, let me please recover our removable rod before you twaddle out of the room.
So after Inari pulls the immovable rod and Shrag, you open the door. As you round the corner out of the door and start walking toward the lab, you notice something.
Oh no.
Oh.
Yeah, I didn't get to tell you about that part yet.
Draggy,
went
what you
wandering
notice
off.
as you round the corner and look, the hallway is unobstructed. You go and you
Oh.
look about, and it's like, wait a minute,
There were bodies there yesterday.
they're not there now. They're gone.
Oh. Hey, guys.
Give me
Didn't you
a
get hungry last night?
I didn't revive him.
give me a real quick. Give me a investigation check, Drag.
Didn't we burn all the bodies?
You burned them to cauterize them, but not enough to actually turn them into ash, so they
Okay.
wouldn't get back up.
Okay.
Okay, bear with 2 moments, because part of that level up I did tweak something, so just bear with me just very quickly 2 seconds. Because that will have changed. Da-da. All the joys of leveling up and also changing things thanks to the wonderful Tashas. Okay, that's 28.
Ow. You look and you see where the bodies were, and they were dragged. You can see there are signs that were dragged off with with kind of very faint blood trails. And as you look down the main corridor, all those bodies down that corridor are gone. And there's drag, and then they've all been dragged down and out of the corridor.
Hmm.
So do you
Guys.
still continue on to the lab, or do you turn back around?
I'm gonna do that kind of like the internet meme thing. The little kid that's like just wandering along, just like enters the room, stops, then just like about faces, and then just walks back again. Guys. Did somebody call room service?
Room service?
Yeah, the maid's been.
Maid?
Yeah, she didn't make the beds up, but they're sure as hell cleaned up.
What you talking about, Willis?
What's happening?
You know those really big, like stinky, big bodies of trolls that were there yesterday?
Yeah.
What do you
Not
mean
there now.
yesterday?
Well, before we slept, you know those big green things that we killed and dropped on the floor and were like filling the corridor?
They're not there anymore?
No, they're gone. And it wasn't me. I didn't do anything. Don't look at me. Things happened, but it wasn't me. Okay?
And Anarion, you didn't hear anybody come by or anything?
Well, and that's the part that I didn't get to tell you before Shaggy ran off. But yeah, during the night last night, there were some sounds of, I don't know if it was tunneling or some kind of a rhythmic vibration that came through the walls, but I didn't want to wake you all. And I thought we were secure here in the room. So figured we could investigate this morning.
Weird. I mean, do we think it's a problem?
It doesn't
Depends
smell
on
as
where
bad.
they are.
Yeah. Do we know if illithids have the ability to like raise creatures from the dead?
There were drag marks. How much does a troll weigh?
A lot.
Yeah, think of how many of them there were, too.
What can drag a troll? What is strong enough to drag a troll? Another troll.
Not an illithid. I don't know.
Oh,
I don't
let's
want
get
to
out of here.
encounter it in a narrow corridor.
Yeah.
Can we tell where they were dragged to? Like, were they dragged just down the hallway, or were they dragged like into a tunnel, into the wall, or?
Did you go and investigate?
Probably not without following him.
Yeah, I think we'll investigate.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
So as you guys come out of the room and go down that hallway, and you kind of following, you see there's a faint blood trail, like more or less like there's some drag marks, and it looks like there's some faint tracks of like an arachnid type of creature. And you see the drag, and then there's a couple of footprints. And as you watching, you see they were all picked up or dragged up, And when you get to that T-junction, you know you guys came in from the right. These trails lead off to the left around the curve and continue on.
Hmm.
So the illithids have spiders that they're working with.
Big spiders, apparently.
Either that or maybe it wasn't related to the illithids because many things wander around through these tunnels, I would suspect.
Yes.
Hey, good thing we're going back that way to see the Myconids. That's the other way, which means we don't have to go that way at all.
Yeah. I mean, it's strange, but at this point, is it our problem? We have what we need. We should go, right?
Hey, anywhere that cleans with smelly trolls is a good person in my books.
Right turn.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
Strange. I don't like that. I will be keeping an eye behind us.
Okay. Anything else you wish to do before you gear up and head out? We didn't get to Obsidian's morning routine as he gets up.
That's all right. We got interrupted, and pretty much I would do what I normally do, which is sharpen swords and daggers and put on my doff my armor. Don. I put on my armor.
Don your armor, pack everything up, get kind of situated.
Yep.
All right. And so I take it on the, so you're probably going to follow Obsidian. Obsidian's probably going to lead because the three of you, the Will, Shrag, and Anari have no idea what's in this area. They kind of 1 minute by the stairs, the next minute in a corridor fighting trolls. So any of that distance in between, no idea.
Correct.
So as you guys are making your way out, Obsidian, Will, and Anari. Shrag, what's your passive perception now? Has it changed?
My passive perception is 15. It hasn't
Okay.
changed, unfortunately.
So Obsidian and Will are at 20. Anari's at a 21, right?
No, I'm passive at 25.
Passive at 25.
Bye. Jeez.
Okay, so level up. Let's refresh. Anari's a 25 passive. Obsidian, what's your passive?
20. Not going to get anything by Anarion anymore.
Willhelminia, what's your passive?
20 as well.
Okay. So the three of you, Anari definitely more acutely aware of this. As you guys make your way out, you're taking in all the senses, the environment, and whatnot. All four of you notice that the stench of dead troll is significantly lessened. For Anari, you can kind of sense in the air. There's a faint, and Obsidian and Will with Anari cluing you in on this. There is a faint kind of metallic oil smell. Will, you're familiar with this because it smells like lubricant. And you immediately kind of instinctually or subconsciously look to your arm and leg as you smell it and realize that it's metallic and it's a lubricant type of
How does the
very
collect,
faint.
The cadaver collector.
That smell is the same smell as the oil I use to keep my arm working.
Also,
something mechanical has gone through here.
And Obsidian, you remember walking through this, there was the sound of skittering in the area. That sound is no longer around. However, the three of you also faintly hear tapping. Almost like it's something that's walking around. It's just a tap, tap. Kind of picture that scene from Jurassic Park where the raptor's walking and taps with the toe. Only it's not. It's just you hearing a tap, a tap, a tap. Anari, you can sense it. You cluing in on this enough, you can tell it's definitely something walking. You can distinctly make out that the rhythm and the rhythm of the tapping is something is walking.
Can we tell the
gave a cadaver collector a lot of bodies.
Yep.
Give me a history check.
He's not hungry
Obsidian.
anymore.
History. I'm scared to touch my dice still. However, there it goes. Dirty 20.
Okay. The cadaver collector that you guys did see, it had more of a foot type of thing. So it may be metallic. It may be a metallic foot, but coming down. But you're not quite sure because you didn't really pay attention to the sound it made walking. But
Right.
it is definitely kind of, you can't rule it out. And you hear this all kind of at a distance. You're not, the way it's echoing through the corridors, you can't really tell where it is, but that it is coming around.
So we can tell it's coming towards us.
No.
Oh, okay.
Does not appear to be heading towards you per se, but it's just that you can hear the sound out there.
Okay.
So it's kind of like an echo through the chambers.
Exactly.
Okay.
I
Let's
look
get the
forward
hell
to
out of here
learning my
quickly.
directional hearing again.
Yeah. I think now that we're rested up, we need to get back to Cablis and then head back to the Myconids, I think.
Okay. Go ahead and make stealth checks now that you've flued in on this and are trying not to attract attention.
As I go to take a step, I stop like mid-step and I say, Obsidian, can you help? Do you have that thingy where it makes like the shadows happen and the no footsteps happen?
Okay. I'll
Please.
pass. I will cast Pass Without Trace.
Thank you.
Well, in that case, I got a 41.
And I am at 38.
And I got a 40.
And I got a natural 20 for a 35.
Sweet.
Jeez.
Cat burglars got nothing on y'all.
We are
That's
still
why they
being-
call it Shadow Watch.
right? Exactly.
So
are the
as
shadows.
you're going and kind of creeping through, and Pass Without Trace lasts for how long?
1 hour.
1 hour. Okay. So with efficiency, now that Obsidian has kind of navigated through a little bit, you're getting back up there. At a couple of points, Obsidian stops you all. Just when it comes to like big intersections of multiple cavern entrances, Drag does his best to look. Anari kind of gets a sense as well, and as you guys get the sense there's something out there. Shrag looks and in the direction you guys kind of indicate, and he notices that there are every so often you see a troll walk by.
Are they still wearing collars?
No, none
Or
of
have
them
they
are
broken
wearing
them off?
collars.
Okay.
Brad, give me an insight check. Because you've got the furthest dark vision.
Hilarity, I've just moved my insight skill away from that to investigation with a retrain. That's still a 17 though. That's cool. We'll go with that.
All right, as you're coming through and you see them, Shrag, you notice that one troll kind of lumbers about, another one walks about differently, almost like there's a different level of intelligence of one troll to the other as they walk about. But you're able to kind of keep them at enough of a distance to kind of avoid any kind of interaction and make your way to the stairwell. You notice that the guardhouse area is completely void of any kind of activity. You do see signs that there was some kind of confrontation, but it is very faint. It's just kind of one of those things due to your passives being so high. You can like something happened here, but I'm not going to question it given everything else I've seen. And you get to the stairwell and walk up the stairs.
Was that signs of our confrontation or was that a different fight?
You actually did not fight anything
Yeah.
prior to showing up. So the fact that there was
Right.
some kind of interaction is not sure. Go ahead and make an insight check based on what you guys were seeing and the information relayed back and forth. The rest
Everybody
of you,
or just
Obsidian
Will?
and Ari, you can do the same as well.
only a 10.
Oh, 21.
I got a 16.
You got a 16?
Yes.
All right. The altercations that you saw, you do see the signs the collars were torn off. So you know that whatever happened where all the trolls kind of almost unanimously ripped their collars off.
Oh.
And the collars are kind of sitting there, but there's little bits of blood splatter and stuff that's there. So there was some kind of fight, but you're not really seeing any kind of bodies around. And given the information, you knew there were intellect devourers running around, unknown number.
Yep.
Based on everything, there was probably about a dozen or so trolls. You killed half of them.
Okay.
Or 24 trolls, you killed half of them. So it's a pretty good bet that some of the trolls were possessed by intellect devourers now that the control was released.
Okay.
But something else happened in here to where it's like some of the trolls have all kind of wandered off. The area is not new. The area is all a little creepy quiet as you kind of see that. And then as you progress up the stairs and you come up to that cathedral area that was a boneyard, looking about, kind of taking a defensive thing. After a few minutes, coming out of the side of the wall, essentially, is Cablis. And as you kind of see her, she kind of has this look of relieved to see you all back up. As I was starting to get worried for a moment. I was searching through the bones and I heard a lot of really strange things coming out of that stairwell. And I was starting to get worried, but did you guys succeed? Well, you must have succeeded. You're back up here.
I think we got what we need. I think it's going to be okay.
I think we need to find the fastest way back to the Myconids so that we can get this to the king.
I'll probably be going back the way we came, but there's some really strange things starting to happen around here. I'm wanting to get out of here too.
Okay. What did you see?
Not so much what I saw, it's what I heard. There was screams. There was something that really weird kind of sound. I heard my papa told me about these weird weather phenomenons on the surface called lightning and thunder, and it really kind of echoed up. Not sure what happened down there, but then there was some other screams, and it sounded like there was a fight, and then it ended, and then there was this crawling sound.
We may have assisted a revolution accidentally.
Oh.
So,
okay.
Yeah.
There may be some really, really smart trolls roaming the area from now on.
Avoid the smart ones.
That's
concerning.
But maybe less tentacle faces. Maybe.
Hope.
Is there a way we can collapse the staircases?
She kind of looks about the size of it. And remember, this whole thing, if you were to kind of side to side, is roughly 500 feet across with a 150-foot column that goes down the center.
Yeah.
The stairwell itself has got a groove that's a path for like a cart to go down, but the rest of it is this very well crafted set of stairs. So breaking that down might be a tad noisy and a tad difficult. Just saying.
Yeah. Maybe later we'll come back with a contingent.
No, we won't.
No.
We won't.
Yeah. Hopefully we have no reason to come back to this area again.
Yeah, no, definitely not. We have many reasons not to return.
So while we're discussing that, Cablis pulls out her map. And you guys get a chance to look at it. Oh, that needs to add lower. Pulls out her map and kind of goes over the areas that you guys have been. In the Zoom chat, it's the second document I sent you.
Mm-hmm.
So now we have some context on where we are and where we've been. You guys are essentially in this southern, coming out in this cathedral where you see the big statue on the southern area.
That's
the
one where all the
stairwell
bones
that goes
are.
Down. She kind of has a kind of a rough pathway plotted out on the way you guys have gone, indicating the big ravine, which is the big ravine that you crossed earlier on your trek, leading north to the partially collapsed stairwell. It's, again, each one of these hexes, as you look at the map, is roughly 500 feet. So it's pop, 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 heading back up. And then once you go up the stairwell, then you'd be in the big kind of forested mushroom forest, fungus forest area that the Myconids live in. So it lets you kind of see as you kind of go through. Previously, you guys had made pretty good time walking through this path, so you should be able to make pretty good time making your way back. But Cablis is definitely wanting to be kind of quiet, and because she is very, very freaked out on what's been happening of late after hearing, like, so the thunderclap or the lightning strike that echoed its way back up and all of this stuff. You guys didn't really hear the echo when it happened because you were in the middle of instantaneous transportation.
Right.
So you didn't actually see the lightning go off, but you did kind of make sense of it afterwards.
Sorry, that was me.
We forgive you.
Not on purpose. I don't know that spell, but that was me.
Things, as Shraggy's so fond of saying, things happened.
Things happened.
Fireball, lightning.
Very, very frightening, as I always say. Galileo Figaro? No. So let's get Cablis and like beat feet and head back as quickly as we can, but still moving quietly.
Okay. Any questions on the map now that this is essentially, we've glossed over it before, we're looking to look now. You guys can actually look at this map that she has a rough drawing of. Some of it's not very clear, but
so
get an idea of how big the city is.
So just the hex north, it would be northeast and up to from the statue, that blue line there, that's the ravine you're indicating, correct?
Yep, that's the ravine where you fought the Driders and the giant spiders.
Yeah.
On the eastern side, the blue line coming in for your out of knowledge is that's the path coming in, and all of the yellow areas are areas that you guys have actually walked through but not fully explored.
Got it.
The green area is the Gnome Enclave.
Right.
Perfect. Cool.
You can't really see it here on the stream, but you guys can see that yellow line on the eastern side that extends all the way up to a stairwell. That's the stairwell that you took up into the Myconid area, but then you can see how big that forest fungus area actually is, and the shortcut lets you go right across.
Yeah.
Okay. So just one quick question. The yellow half dot that's over there on the very east, right next to the stair to the Myconids, that's where we met the Drugar or Duragar?
Now I'm guessing that's the little tentacle things that wisped into with the cave breeze.
Oh,
That's
yes.
that yellow area is actually the cave-in area where you had to go through on your brooms, and Shrag and Cablis kind of walked along the ledge.
Got it.
That's where the cave. Yes, that's where the cave fishers were.
So that's where one of my daggers still is.
Yes, just hanging from the ceiling.
I'll give you the gold piece to buy a new one.
Yeah, I'm not. I don't think I'll need to go back for it. Thanks. All right. No, that's great. So it's good to know. So basically the upper level Myconid forest essentially goes from the half collapsed stair all the way back to the stairwell we went up.
Yeah, with roughly about 1,000 feet to the east and west of where those two stairwell points are. And
Okay.
then just kind of picturing a big kind of domed area that encompasses everything around that. But it's above you 1,500 feet to the floor of it. And then in there, it
It
extends
goes
up
beyond. Yeah.
a few hundred feet in the cavern. So again, picturing Star Trek II Wrath of Khan, that point where they're inside the asteroid, and it's
Mhm.
this huge kind of forested kind of thing. Only picture it being all fungus type of growths and huge trunks of mushrooms that grow up. And so all kinds of weird things do kind of live up there, but that's where the Myconid colony is.
Okay. So yeah, unless somebody else has a better idea, I think we head back to the Myconids.
Absolutely.
Will, Shrag, do you have any questions on the map?
Mm-mm.
It's all good, looking good.
She's looking a little uncomfortably at the giant lake and secretly hoping that nothing happens to the dam.
Cablis looks at it. Oh, that's not a dam.
What is it? It's a lot of water.
That's pretty much like a beachfront type thing.
Oh, is that where the Kuatoa live?
Most likely, Kuatoa are amphibious, so they want to be close to the water. She points out, you can't see it on the map, but just a little bit off the map, there's actually an island over there that we heard about. That's probably where they are where they're at the most.
We may need to investigate that later.
Underground sea with an underground island. What an unusual.
And looking at the document that she has, there's an area in the northwest that's kind of like got a rough circle and kind of a hat, and something written in there. You guys with your helms, and kind of see that it's basically gnomish for danger, dark elves.
Got it. That's where the
That's actually really good to know because
this area here
on the map that we're seeing on the stream, it's those white areas are kind of up there. That's but on Cablis's map, she doesn't have a real good definition of the exact specifics, but roughly that area there, that's where there's a large contingent of drow.
I was going to say, from our notes from Erzangle, didn't he say that, or not? Was it Erzangle that told us about the Midnight Shard, or was it the Myconid King?
No, the Myconid King did not tell you about where the other ones is. He doesn't quite doesn't really understand the significance. But Erzangle, who is a little bit more aware of those kinds of things, and heard rumor that that the drow have one of the pieces you're looking for, as well as the Kuatoa.
I'm going back to my notes because I remembered one of them had one piece and the other group had the other. Okay, cool.
You're right. So, you don't need to worry. Yeah. You remember correctly.
So I'll again remind the group, well, we're going to need to visit both of those areas then, but I still think we should return the information of the Myconid King so we can try to save as many of his people as we can before we move on to any other interactions.
Cablis, and I'm going to point to the drow area. What do you know about this area other than dangerous and drow?
Sorry, I had a quick tech thing I was looking at. Rephrase the question, please.
Cablis, and I'm going to point to the drow area. What do you know about this area other than dangerous and drow? Do you know anything about this area?
No, we do know. Well, there is rumor and some reports that there is some kind of conflict with the Kuatoa, but then again, drow hate everybody who's not them. So, especially the ones that are really, really devoted to the Spider Queen, and from all indication, they are. So there's a lot of that going on.
Could you define Spider Queen?
Evil. Give me a religion check. Give me a religion check, Obsidian, since
I
you're
was
so
gonna say.
interested.
Religion check should be.
Oh, no 7. That's why I'm asking.
With a 7, you're familiar. You're vaguely you're familiar a little bit with the fact that the Dark Elves worship a demon named Loth, who has an affinity for spiders, so they refer to her as the Spider Queen. Anything beyond just the name, that little bit of name recognition, that's it.
Yeah.
And but
where I'm trying to go is that queen potentially in that area?
She goes, if she were on this plane, no, we would not be here. We would know. We would know if she was here. Her handmaiden, no. And you can almost see the color as you phrase this concept. You can see the color drain from her face, even in dark vision. And the fact she's got a very dark gray skin complexion, you can just see that color drain.
That's what I was hoping you would say, Cablis, but I had to ask.
Mm-hmm.
Well, there are plenty of other strange things that have been happening of late.
Absolutely, and that was not one I wanted to even fathom.
But some consulate, she would probably not come here. She'd probably go to Mesobarazon before she would come here. Just saying. Which is why we are really far away from there.
Good to know.
Jot that down for future reference.
Yeah, when the DM says, "Hey, what about going here?" Nope. No. Nope.
Yeah, then we're going to be imitating.
As a dungeon master, you want to go to the city of spiders? By all means.
Nope.
Oh, we'll be imitating the critical bard on the stream tonight. No. Just no.
Just no.
Stranger things have happened. I'm just
I think you used the profanity in the word no.
It'll take you a while, but if you really want to go there.
No. Just no.
Add about 12 levels to where we are now, which I know is impossible, and maybe.
All right.
Alrighty. So
I'll get Cablis to lead the way back.
Yep.
Cablis folds out the map, starts kind of walking you guys along. Progressing back through the area, just kind of roundabout, doing a couple of stuff. Obviously, you're going stealthy and slower to make sure you're not attracting anything, and as you're kind of pacing your way through.
Want to keep an eye out too for that one drider that got away.
Nemesis.
You coming back up and navigating through all those areas. When you come back up to one of the first spots, one of the last spots you came down, but one of the first spots on the way back, where Shrag kind of looked down the corridor and said, "Hey, there's more Koatoa and stuff coming this way. We should kind of kind of go." Coming back up that way, you guys notice that something seems a little off in the area. And looking about, you see looks like they passed through, and there's something kind of looks off. Give me who's leading the way back.
Probably Obsidian.
Okay, sure. I'll bite the bullet. It'll be me.
Go ahead and roll a survival check.
It's going to be either Obsidian or myself usually.
24.
Okay. You notice that the Koatoa tracks go, and then they come, and it looks like there's another set that come back, but the way the pacing of the steps is the The way they went the first time, it was kind of a casual march. The way back, it was more like a run.
Hey guys, check this out.
And there were fewer.
They got into a fight of something up there. A lot went that way very casually, and fewer came back running.
Sounds about
Johnny,
right.
what did you do? Shaggy, what did you do?
Why is it always
Johnny.
me? Why do you keep on looking at me? Hey, what have I done? You're the one that keeps checking fireballs out. Hey, I'm innocent.
You're the one that had some plan for them. What did you do?
I never got a plan out. I've been with you the whole time. You know, you've seen what I've been doing.
There was quite a while where I was not with you.
Okay. Ask them. I sat in the corner and read a book.
It's true. He was here the whole time.
Shit, why did nobody believe me? Well, you lose one party. Never let you let it down.
All right. Now, anything else you wish to do as upon seeing this?
I think we're just take it in awares.
Yeah.
So continuing back up the path, the way you go, you come to the ravine, the remnants of the bridge, and that is the only thing you're seeing as you're looking about.
We don't see the strands anymore.
You don't see this. You don't see any strands of anything other than some burnt rope from when the fireball went off. A little bit of charring.
The fireball took out the bridge, I take it?
Yes, it did.
Okay.
And so it's this open thing, but you know the depth isn't that deep. You can see the bottom. You can all see the bottom going through, but you're noticing that again, there are no bodies. There are no giant spider bodies. There are no drider bodies. Gone.
Something's following along and cleaning up the bodies. That has me a
Have our own
bit
personal
concerned.
maid service?
Yeah, that has me a little bit concerned because I don't know about you guys, but I didn't contract a maid service.
I don't think we're that lucky, guys.
Somebody's trying to tell us we're messy.
No. Eventually, they're going to think that we're the next bodies.
Only if you're dead. Oh, that happened to you last week, didn't it? Oh, yeah.
Yeah, basically right where I'm standing too.
So can we see evidence of like before with the trolls where the bodies were dragged away?
A little bit in the area right there with the couple of them, and you look down, but you do notice that all the weapons are like they just took it's like the bodies, but the weapon and the weapons are just kind of left where they fell.
The reason I ask is because I'm wondering if we can see maybe what sort of tracks are being left behind by what's being taken.
Well, the problem with the fact you're in this ravine, any kind of drag, it's the fact that you didn't see the drag marks coming toward the ravine, but the bodies are all gone, so you're not. So it's a reasonable deduction that whatever grabbed the bodies didn't need to walk on the ground, didn't drag them anywhere, but carried them off.
Are the bodies out of the bottom
of the ravine?
ravine?
It's like, something that could walk on walls.
Are the bodies out of the bottom of the ravine too?
Yes.
Whatever this thing is, it's strong and it doesn't walk like a normal creature.
Let's keep going quickly.
Yeah.
Yes.
I really don't want to run into this thing.
How do you navigate across the ravine without a bridge?
Called a broom of flying.
Broom of flying, I think, is our standard approach to these types of scenarios.
Yeah. I'll go up to Cavlis and I'll say, I'm really sorry. I know you hate this, but I really think this is the best way across right now. I'll be really careful, I promise.
Okay.
Okay. Hold on tight.
Where's Froggy?
Are the poles that held the rope bridge still in place?
The one on your side, as you're coming up on it, your side where you see the bridge had fallen and still kind of halfway in the ravine, is good. The other side, it's all charred.
Does
Not
it
giving
look
a good feeling that the other
so
side
it's not
is
going to
all
be
that
stable?
secure.
Okay. I was going to use my rope of climbing again, but I won't risk it. I'll just wait for a ride.
So once I get across, I'll just send the broom back to him.
Now, once you're on this side and you see then where the bodies are, you do see there are a few drag marks across, and some kind of footprint as you go.
Kind of footprint.
A large kind of boot type footprint. Something very wide and very kind of there in the pebbles as you're kind of looking about.
Even bigger than trolls?
Probably just right around the same size, if not a little bit bigger, but it's a little less defined. Like trolls don't wear shoes.
Yeah.
This one looks.
So this is a boot.
This one's more of a boot. Will, give me an insight.
So intrigued.
I know. Now I want to just go find it just to know what the hell it is, but we're not going.
That's a natural 20.
You make out. It seems like it's a larger version of your own foot if it didn't have your boot on. Like if you were to take your boots off and look at the mechanical structure of it, it's a little less intricate, but you can definitely compare the two. It's just this one's much larger.
This was definitely a construct of some sort because it's very similar to the footprint my metal foot leaves behind.
Ooh, a construct. Tinkerbell wanted us to bring her back stuff from constructs.
That is true. I'm not sure this is the best option.
It's an option.
Oh, Shraggy, I have a feeling that you're just missing a fireball. You haven't been able to cast one for a while.
Well,
Man, this thing really makes a lot of ground quickly too. I don't know. I think we should keep going and try to avoid it. I'm scared.
I'm okay with keeping going for now. We'll just keep an eye out.
I will continue floating on my broom and just like sit backwards on the broom. So I just keep an eye behind us the whole time because I'm really sketched out right now.
Okay. Continuing to progress along as efficiently and quietly as possible. Your passives kind of clue you in to kind of pause and stop and avoid and kind of get to that. You come to the area that's like the big kind of storage warehouse type of area where you remember seeing a couple of groups of Koatoa come together.
Yeah.
As you come into this room this time around, you notice that there is something that catches your attention as you look about the room. For the three of you, Anari, you immediately kind of get the sense that there was a fight here. There was a pretty decent fight here. You see kind of weapons screwed around. Anari, go ahead and roll me a percentile die.
Okay. I was going to say, is it possible to get a sense of from the weapons who's involved? 95 is the percentage.
Okay. We will cover that when we come back for our mid-session break because it's already been an hour and a half we've been online roughly. So we're going to take about 10 to 15 minutes, and when we come back, we will explore this battlefield. So thank you for watching so far. I hope you're enjoying this as the mystery starts to deepen, and we will see you all in a few minutes.
Become inspired by Sirenscape Online Player's massive sound library and weave your tabletop legends by building custom sound sets that bring your immersive
scared.
world to life.
So
Simply
much weird
download the
stuff.
app to access the entire Sirenscape archive anytime you need epic sounds. The online player works perfectly alongside any virtual tabletop to bring your players together no matter where they are in the world. Broadcast your custom sound sets in real time with flawless audio quality to give them a game they'll never forget. Get the Sirenscape Online Player today at Sirenscape.com.
And we're back. Everything's good and green. Cool. How was the break? Everybody have a good break?
Yes.
Whoa.
Got more coffee, so all's good in the world.
Nice.
Oh, the caffeines.
Nice. Alrighty.
I called it an exorcism for my dice.
There we go. You want to explain to the audience why you're freaking out about your dice?
No. What
Okay.
they don't know won't hurt them.
A lot like this episode. It's not so much what you see, it's what you don't see.
That's ominous.
Thanks for that, Scoob, because that's not worried me now at all.
Not at all. My anxiety levels are fine.
Hey, I've been fighting self-imposed anxiety all week, so I feel like sharing. Sorry.
I can relate
You
to
have
that.
done that. Thank you so much.
So,
Sharing
getting
is
back
caring.
into it, you guys are making you. For those who are just tuning in, the party defeated or investigated the laboratory the mind flayers were using to experiment with the dust of contrariness, which causes people to be abnormal and violent. It's not very fun, and are making their way back to the Myconid colony to return to give the dust and the notes to the Myconid king as part of the agreement that they had. The trek back is been a little unusual, because this is the first time the party has literally backtracked the exact same path that they took the first time around. They're noticing that the bodies of the creatures they had fought are all gone. There's some blood stains on the ground. There's some drag marks. There's some footprints of a couple of different kinds that you can see. There's discarded weapons and gear, but no bodies. They have just come up to the site in kind of one of these warehouse district type areas within the city. In fact, we will hop back over to the map for those in the stream who want to find out. Roughly just past the ravine area is this kind of warehouse area where the party had come across two groups of Koatoa on their first trek that had seemed to have met in this area. They cleverly hid from them to instead of getting into a fight with a large kind of party or search party roaming around the city. As they come into the area, Anari, Will, and Obsidian notice something is off with this area. Anari immediately picks up on that this looks like the site of a battle. This is where we are coming in with that.
Oh boy, oh boy, oh boy.
So, Anari, you had a question right before we went to break?
Yeah, two questions. First, one statement, one question. First, the roll on the percentile was 95.
Mm-hmm.
The second is from the weapons that are strewn about, is it possible to identify which types of creatures have been involved in the battle?
Yep, it's totally possible. If everyone is wanting to search the battlefield for a moment, go ahead and roll investigation checks or survival if you're trained in either one of those.
Dirty 20 for Anarion.
21 for Will.
So I rolled both
Shrek.
just for the hell of it. Both investigation and survival are 22.
And Shrag, what was yours?
28.
Okay.
Jeez.
Looking through the area, this particular room, large kind of open space, there was a couple of rock piles you kind of hid by as they kind of went through. You're noticing there are no bodies that you can tell. There's definitely blood splatter, a lot of blood splatter. A couple different ones. You're seeing images. You're seeing items that look like some scimitars have been discarded. A couple of hand crossbows are discarded. You're seeing expended darts lying on the ground. You're seeing what looks like mace type of weapons, some like trident and spears. Looking about, kind of going through, you notice that some of the footprints are elf-sized foot. Some of them are a different kind of bipedal creatures, some large, some small. All in all, looking at it, it looks like Koatoa and Troglodyte that you saw the first time had engaged in a rather heated and bloody battle with dark elves. Like this was like, I mean, it was just ferocity on both sides, but there are no bodies. You see there are some footprints that kind of go away one direction or another, but they don't get very far. If you follow them out through the corridors, they kind of go, and then there's pools of blood where the footprints stop.
How fresh is the blood?
About a little less than a day. Like you can summarize, you can get a good feeling that when you passed through the first time, in the time since you passed through that this occurred, it was over and all of the bodies are gone.
I don't like this whole bodies disappearing thing. This seems wrong. Something strange is going on.
And you see now you get the chance in a wider area to look. You see a couple of sets of these large footprints. And you see several sets of like these another type of footprint that seems to be in groups of 8. Like you can tell the big footprints are a bipedal, the others, and there are a couple of sets of those. You can tell based on the distance and the gape and everything that there's at least 2 to 3 of those sets. And then you see another 4 or so sets of like 8.
So wait a minute.
They're all paced.
Let me see if I get this right. So it looks like at least 2 to 3 sets of the construct type footprints that are like Will's foot.
Only bigger.
And then 3 or 4 of the arachnid type.
Yes.
Prints. Are the arachnid type prints also, do they have an appearance of a construct, or is it like a true arachnid?
You guys' investigations. Roll a nature check on that one.
Will, come here.
Not one of my strong suits. Yeah, 10.
Yes, Obsidian.
And your question is it a construct footprint or a
natural
living creature? It is not a living creature. The way the impact is kind of goes through, it doesn't come across as living, but you're not quite sure because you did have a brief experience with a creature called a blade spider, which could leave a similar footprint, but you're not 100% sure on that. But but in your memory, comparing it to like a giant spider, oh no, totally different footprint. But again, in a group of 8.
Creepy.
Okay, so I'm going to go over to one of the bipedals. Will, put your foot next to this.
I like lean on Obsidian and pop my boot off, and put my foot on it.
What's the size difference?
Oh god, what's the best way I could do? What's the best way I could describe this?
I'm like 5'4", so my foot is probably like a 7 in women's.
7 women's?
Yeah.
Picture putting your foot in like Shaq's footprint.
Oh goody, that's like a 19.
So we're looking at
it fits in there. It fits in there with a few inches. Like if she lines up heel to toe, there's a few inches around the foot in the footprint.
I just kind of stare at it open mouth like.
Yeah, and I do want to look up, make sure there's nothing above us that's going to just drop on top of us.
Say that again.
I want to look up, make sure there's nothing above us that's actually going to drop on top of us.
Good call.
All right. You're looking up. Your perception doesn't clue you in anything. It's just the ceiling.
Okay. We should keep doing that, though. With all these spiders, you never know what's going to drop on our heads. Do we hear any movement in here besides our own?
Roll an active perception on this one.
Okay. Yeah, I just kind of like hold my hand up and I'm like, I just want to make sure. Let's just listen for a second. So I get advantage, so I'm going to re-roll. That's worse.
That is definitely worse.
But I get to add a D4 to my perception. So let's add that. That makes it a
Every little
12.
bit helps.
And the D4 came
man.
from...
My sentinel shield.
Ah, okay.
I get to add a D4 to insight and perception.
All right, so that roll was what, a 24?
12.
12?
Half of that.
I mean, we can go with 24 if you'd prefer.
A 12. You're not able to pick out any kind of distinct sound. It's just more of that kind of bit. You do remember some different sounds, but it's actually kind of eerily quiet in this area.
My heart beating in my ears.
Yeah, that's kind of taking up more of this, is you taking in everything and that image of that foot, and it's just like you're trying, but you're not able to focus in on any sounds.
Yeah. Well, I don't hear anything, so I'm pretty sure we're alone.
Yeah, I think we need to keep moving.
Any other investigations on the battlefield?
All of the weapons that are laying there look mundane. Nothing looks magical.
You want me to cast detect magic?
Give me,
Find out?
yeah, if you want to do a cast, detect magic.
I will do that.
I definitely would say that for an Anarion Obsidian, the hand crossbows would definitely catch your eye.
I'll grab
Cool.
one of those.
You can,
Yeah, and I cast detect magic just to see if anything else in here is magical.
All right. There's a couple of faint kind of glimmers.
Okay.
Of a couple of the scimitars.
Okay.
Um,
grab those.
two scimitars in the pile. They're looking at them. It looks like they got a small enchantment on them.
Okay.
Once if Shrike takes the time now to identify, then there's just a couple of +1 sword magic swords. Nothing too extravagant.
Okay.
But
we
the
wanna-
craftsmanship on them is exquisite, and the hilts have spider inlays. I mean, you totally know this is drow made.
Draw weapon.
Even the hand crossbows. I mean, intricate zerkwood, which is the which is, as you've learned, is the kind of wood equivalent type fungus. Again, really kind of intricate metalwork. I mean, these are very well crafted, and able to pick up probably about two dozen darts in what's just lying about if you take the time. Because I'm not gonna just kind of looking through. This is like, here's your that detective moment in a game where it's like all of this here is, and you're trying to piece together what happened.
Yeah.
And so, and the hand
Yeah,
crossbows, are they regular crossbows or are they a +1 also?
No, they're regular.
Okay.
But knowing
Did
that
you
they're
add that
drow
to the
and with
bag?
whatnot, it's like the darts are probably need to be handled with care.
Yeah, poison.
Poison, yeah, more than likely.
Oh.
Not sure how long drow the rogues roll a history check or a history check.
History.
I've probably forgotten more about being a rogue than I'll ever know. 7.
Well, that just beats the snot out of my 3.
21.
21?
I think I'm switching to physical die.
21.
You said that already.
Kind of looking through, the rogues put their heads together about drow poison. Because clearly you're wanting to be careful with the darts, but you kind of have a good indication that most poison needs to be continually re-dipped. given how old the battlefield is, the poison has probably dried. But I'm gonna be on the safe side.
Better safe than poisoned.
Very much so.
Indeed.
Because a couple of you have felt the impact of drop poison.
I'd rather not. I'm okay with not experiencing that.
Yeah.
Well, here's hoping that whatever it is that's collecting these bodies is heavy enough that we'll hear them coming.
Should we put the scimitars in the quiver, or do they fit in the bag of holding?
Scimitars will probably be better for your quiver because they're a little over 4.
Quiver.
They're probably at that 4 foot, and your bag of holding, it does have a finite item restriction as far as the size of the item you put in. You can't stuff a dragon inside of a bag of holding. It's not feasible.
Aww.
That was what I wanted to try next. So, Anarion, you want to put one in yours? I'll put one in mine this way, just in case we both have something to reach back to if we drop a weapon.
Yep.
Okay.
So Shrag's going to take one of the little hand
scimitar plus one.
crossbows.
I'm sorry, Shrag, go ahead.
Okay.
I'm going to take one of the hand crossbows.
Okay. So add a drow hand crossbow to your inventory. And looking through, like I said, probably 24 darts collectively. So you guys can decide how you want to break that up, or if you want to.
How many hand crossbows?
You guys, there's like 6 or 7 of them.
Okay, so we'd be able to grab. All right, but the darts we'd only have.
The darts, there's only about 24.
Okay.
So how about each person take a hand crossbow and then we'll stick the others to sell?
Is it a simple weapon?
I don't think so. I think it's a martial.
I cannot use one then.
With the knowledge of the drow weapons, obviously, Shragg's knowledge of magic items and stuff, would he be aware of the fact that drow weapons, obviously this is player knowledge here, being impacted and destroyed by sunlight? Would he know that in character potentially?
Give me a history on your research.
Wow.
Yes, like... a hand crossbow is a martial weapon.
Okay.
Apparently I've rolled another 7.
What?
Shrag, roll something again to make sure you're not stuck in that loop.
Oh, that's a point.
Yeah. Nope.
No, I wasn't stuck in a loop because I've now just rolled a 25. That which means okay, what a...
Lots of 7s.
So yes, live roll is a 7, but I'm just going to go rage at D&D Beyond now. 25.
All right. Well, okay. So D&D Beyond was not trapped in the dice roll.
No, it wasn't. I just rolled really badly twice in a row.
It was just infected by Avre. That's all.
Okay.
Yeah.
Rudimentally speaking, most Underdark and even Cabalist, was if you verbalize this out loud, Cabalist would confirm that most weapons that are made in the Underdark don't typically do well in daylight. It's hard to tell now. Most of the weapon will still function, but any enchantment on it will not survive in sunlight.
Cool.
Okay, that's good to know. Time to wake up.
That's fine because the hand crossbows aren't magical. That's cool. It's all good.
No, but it possibly might affect the swords though.
Yeah.
Right, the scimitars.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's cool.
They'll be good to use down here, but not elsewhere. Yeah.
We should give these to Cabalist in the group or sell them there.
Yep, I agree.
Good, cool.
Alrighty. All right, so piecing together, recapping, it looked like the drow and the Koatoda came to blows.
Which kind of makes sense because there could have been 2. We knew one was patrolling. They were looking for something, so they could have clashed. That kind of makes sense.
Yeah.
If the other Thids and the trolls have been kind of like weakened or changed, that's probably going to open up a bit of a power gap. So they might patrol further into the area. They might see it as an opportunity to gain ground. That all kind of makes sense and doesn't seem out of place. But there was no survivors. We know the bodies have gone.
No bodies.
Yeah, no bodies, but also then doesn't look like there's any survivors. I mean,
Well, I would say there were survivors based on the tracks that we saw, at least of the Kuatoa running that we
Mhm.
crossed in that back section.
were they not running away from the section, or were they running into the section? I missed
They were
that.
running away from this section.
Okay, they were running away
Yeah,
from
they
it. Okay.
walked in casually and then ran out as fast as they could.
Okay, so they could still be around, but they've gone elsewhere, and that's fine.
And that
So-
was also
so on
behind us.
Yeah, so on the flip side, we saw them going behind us where we came from. Do we see any drow footprints going the way we're going?
Oh, yeah.
To specify with that, the tracks you saw earlier was on the other side of the ravine.
Oh,
Got it.
So in
Different.
this
I thought
area,
we said Okay.
when you came down, you came across one group of Kuatoa, crossed the ravine, then saw another group, and hot-footed away from them.
got it.
So you never got eyes on them. So the ravine is your big separator as far as you can tell. So
Okay.
the chance is very remote that any of those tracks are from this battle.
Makes sense.
This
Okay.
battle, though, when you go in about and you face the tracks, you did see that there were survivors. The survivors were not Kuatoa or troglodyte, and that those survivors did not get very far. So piecing it together is the Kuatoa were ambushed by drow. It was a rout. And then toward the end of the battle, though, something else came in. The survivors tried to run away, but they never got very far. So you do see the tracks, and pacing the tracks about, you're able to see that the constructs came in and the constructs left, but they didn't all leave in like a mass group that you can. It's like they came in, collected the bodies, and then all kind of wandered away. There's one particular pathway that looks like it has more of the footprints, but they're kind of spaced apart.
Does it appear that the arachnid type footprints are paired with a construct set of footprints?
Bipedal.
The large set of tracks leading out of the path on the pathway, that does appear to be one of the footprints, and a couple of the arachnid ones. There's another group of arachnid tracks that lead off by itself, and then the other constructs kind of walk off by themselves. So there was a larger group. It looks like there was a large group that went one direction as a whole, and then the rest kind of wandered off in their own directions.
But the arachnids, only in the one larger group are the arachnids actually paired with a construct.
A few of them. It looks
Okay.
that way.
Okay.
Interesting. So they're not necessarily all working together. The plot.
And it's hard. Yeah, it's hard to say who came at what time and who came through and with whom.
Tablis,
Should
do you know about some sort of construct that would live down here? Spider or humanoid or otherwise?
Caplis thinks about it. So there's been sightings of some stuff, but haven't moved very far. They haven't explored very far away from the Enclave in a while because of their current problem. But she's not really sure what's going on. She's just as baffled as the rest of you, and because gnomes have a habit, some gnomes do tinker. Some of these things being their size is really kind of disconcerting.
Yeah.
To her.
Yeah.
She's heard stories of large constructs being made, and knows that people and you know as well, Will, being who your mentors were. Tinkering, artificers, constructs, there are people who get really interested in these things, but to see this many is more than a little disconcerting.
Okay. Something is at work down here. I hope that the Myconids are still safe and this hasn't reached them.
We should go.
We should go. I'm starting to get nervous. that they're under attack or something.
Right. Just for the sake of things, as you kind of go on, Obsidian, you would know that it's been about an hour, so your spell has kind of worn off with Pass Without Trace. Because you guys were moving fairly quick, but a lot of the time spent because you weren't stuck in you there. So it's like, all right, the spell kind of wore off a little bit while we were here searching. So if you want to recast it before making your way, you're over 2/3 of the way there. So it's going to be fairly quick, depending on how you guys want to go about this quietly.
Yeah, I'll wait unless I hear something. If I hear something in the immediate area, then I'll go ahead and cast it as we're going.
But for the most part, just kind of okay.
Yeah.
Go ahead and give me new stealth rolls as you're leaving this area to make your trek north.
Nervous.
28.
31.
I tripped on something. 17.
Oh, I'm glad I get advantage. 16, because the first one was a 6.
So Shrag and Anari, you guys kind of fall in there. You see Will and Obsidian trip over two completely different things.
It's all
just kind of do that
metaphor.
that little stutter step and be like, I'm good. I'm
just gonna shake my head at Obsidian and just look at him, and I don't know what's going on today.
Distracted. I know. I was distracted by something.
Sorry.
Must be a shiny somewhere.
I probably startled you by tripping over whatever I tripped over.
No, for next time I'll just roll the dice.
I take a second to look for whatever it is I tripped over, and realizing there was nothing there, I tripped over my own feet. I continue on in shame.
The trek back, you pass by the area that had the slimes in it, and you managed to navigate and avoid those. There's a couple of those areas that had the screams and moans. Kind of find an alternative way to where it's not so loud this time around, and kind of work your way back up to the stairs. And as you start ascending the stairwell, remembering that there are areas you had to rappel or float down on the brooms, kind of going the way up there. Eventually you do come into the garden. There are no Myconids waiting there this time, so you're going to have to navigate. So need whoever's leading the procession to make a survival check. If someone wants to help, they can give them advantage.
I'll help Obsidian on his.
Oh, good, because that was a 6 + 6 for 12.
Well, help. It gives you advantage, though, right?
Yeah, and that 10 + 6 = 16.
That's better.
That's 4 bad rolls on there. I'm going to dice next.
Alrighty, so little disoriented, but you're able to kind of walk your path back, and you come into the encampment of the Myconid. It's been a very long day, because it took you a day to get down there, and then a day to get back. Get back in there. You've been walking along. Energy wise, kind of a little worn out from the climb and the walking, but then there's that level of just your mind just can't let go of what you've seen, or more specifically, what you did not see on the back.
Yeah, so it's that thing where your body's exhausted, but your mind is racing.
Yes.
Yeah.
And as you kind of go through, you're brought to the Myconid king, who's like, "You're back. That didn't did it?"
It was an eventful couple days.
It may not have taken long, but it sure seemed like it took long.
Felt like it took like 2 weeks.
I'll hand him one of the bags of the dust.
Yes. I think this is
he accepts the bag.
So don't go sniffing that.
Don't smell it.
It's not good stuff.
Don't smell it.
That is good. So you have found something.
I think this is what has been turning your people against each other. and I point to Shraggy, he was exposed to some of it, and it made him very contrary for a while. He's feeling better now, and I like pat him on the hat.
No, I'm not. No, I didn't. Just joking. It's over now. It's fine. But
He's,
no.
he's quite a joker. But we also have some notes, correct? That might help you a little bit. Do you have those, Anarion? Who has those?
I'll go ahead and give them to him then, if he can decipher
he
them.
accepts the notes and kind of looks, and it's hard to tell because they don't really have eyes that you're aware of. But he holds it. It looks like he's reading it.
That's what I was kind of worried about.
Language.
Yeah.
And after a while, after a moment, he goes, "This is good. I can cure my people now."
Well, that was our goal.
It will take some time.
Is there anything we can do to help you?
No, you look like you were tired.
You are insightful, King.
Okay.
Do you mind if we go rest for a while?
Yes. While you're resting, I will get the item we agreed on.
Thank you.
That seems fair.
Thank you.
Hey, big guy. You also said if we brought the stuff back, that that pile of all the stuff from the people that went gaga, you said that you didn't need anymore. Can we go have a poke in it?
Oh yeah, that's right.
Sits there, kind of tilts his head a little bit. It will be brought to you.
Hey, what's a big top geezer? Not what they're sure they say about you down there.
What do they say?
Not a lot, really. We killed them all.
Oh.
Oh, actually, we did see some of your guys down there, but they didn't bother us. But there were some down there. You might want to go bring them back at some point. Not safe wandering down there.
Yes. We have groups that wander to find more food and supplies.
We weren't sure if they were under the effect of the aggression, so we avoided them so we didn't have to hurt them if they did try to fight us.
That is good. Senseless death is not needed.
Exactly.
We prefer to recycle.
Yes.
Okay. Back in your
Do
way
you
now.
do you know of anything else that has this tendency to recycle? It seems like many of the bodies that we had first seen along our path on our way back were no longer present.
I'm not sure. Let me ask while you rest. And he summons one of his aides and kind of guides you back over to your campsite. He turns and starts working on working in his stuff to generate a cure. Be able to go in, get a fairly decent rest.
Nap time.
Do we want to try? Do we want to try before we do that curing their water, any more of their water supply?
Has it been reinfected? Can we tell?
Not that you're aware of. Didn't really ask, but he was focusing on the fact he can make a permanent cure.
Okay.
So, as you guys head back to the little camp area you guys had stayed at the last time you were there, and while you're kind of lounging about for a rest, a group of them come over and they bring you a kind of a pile of stuff. Explorer packs, a little bit of gold, some weapons, and one of them is holding kind of a half sphere type of silver item that fits the description the Baron gave you for one of the shards, and kind of hands that over. So the rest of the stuff, they're like 4 of them brought He's like this kind of just 4 of them came over, and walking with them were some of the larger spore servants. Just big armfuls of this stuff, and it just drops it down on there. So you guys can kind of look through
go
and
through it.
whatnot.
Cool.
Yeah, go through it and kind of search out what's valuable and worth taking or keeping, and what is really just junk.
A lot of basic items, explorer packs, dungeoneer packs, some various clothing and weapons, all very mundane type of things. Some of them are drow made, some of them are dwarven made, some of them are gnome made. So it's which fits
Variety.
when you look and see all the various spore servants that are floating about the area, tending to the
Sure.
various gardens.
Can I find a drow dagger?
Yeah, you would find a couple in there.
I'm gonna take one of the drow daggers.
Okay. Got it's a nice silver blade with a really kind of embossed spider all along the hilt.
I will search through the pile for a magnifying glass and some ball bearings.
The ball bearings, yes. Give me a percentile die, or give me an investigation check for the looking glass or the magnifying glass.
That's a 9. No, a 10.
You do find one, but it's cracked.
Okay, that's not. Nope.
Say,
Blink, throw it over my shoulder.
I want to. Is there any caltrops to replace the ones that I used down in the
Yes.
mind flayer area? Okay, so I'll restock on that.
There's essentially enough stuff to restock your basic items.
Okay.
Then that you guys are short, enough basic simple weapons and some things, but again, the various craftsmanships from the various races, as you can tell the difference.
Actually, in thinking about it, now that Obsidian had mentioned it, I'll go ahead and take one of the drow daggers as well to replace the one that's still hanging with the fishers.
There are a few in there. There all in total there are 6 daggers, 6 swords, 6 long swords, 6 a lot of groupings of things, but just in general, you can find enough caltrops, ball bearings, all of those basic kind of things. There's even a couple of sets of thieves tools that are in there if you wanted extra sets of that.
Yeah, I'll go ahead and take just to have backups.
A couple of medicine kits or healers kits.
Those are always useful.
Very simple spell components.
Mind if I take the healer's kits, guys?
No, I think you should.
How many are there, Steve?
4 of them.
Thank you.
And I because I have one and I haven't used it, so you should take them.
Okay.
Just a thought. Would it make sense to share maybe just one more rank? So if Will goes down,
Someone else
maybe-
should be able to use it. Yeah, I agree.
Yeah,
That's probably a good plan.
Well, I do have one, so
Okay, so you hold on to yours. Why don't we just make sure everybody has one, and then I'll keep the extras.
Yep.
So I'll
That
have
makes
3,
sense.
everybody else has 1.
Yeah, that makes sense.
There are also a set of drow, because they're drow stuff. You do find drow cloaks, Olafis.
Oh, how many of those?
There's 6 of them. So there's enough for each of you to take one if you wanted to take one and use it.
It might
So
be
that's,
for hiding later.
I was going to say, that's basically a cloak of elvenkind, but made by drow, correct?
Yes.
That requires attunement, correct?
Double check.
I believe cloaks of elvenkind do require attunement.
Yep. Cloak of Elvenkind, dark spider silk cloak made by the drow. The cloak, it's a cloak of Elvenkind that loses its magic exposed to sunlight for over an hour without interruption. While wearing it, hood up, does require attunement. While wearing this cloak with the hood up, any perception checks made to see you are at disadvantage. and you have advantage on stealth checks because the cloak's color will shift to help you hide.
Well, I like readjust my black displacer beast cloak. Like I already hide in the shadows, so I don't. And I hold up one of my boots, and I have advantage on stealth already, so I'm good.
Yeah, Shrag's got a cloak of protection, so he'll kindly decline as well. And he's got the boots of Elvenkind as well.
I mean, they're beautiful.
I'm gonna take them if nobody's going to be using them and put them into the bag of holding so that we can take them back to Tinkerbell. I think
keep them out of sunlight.
Yeah, keep them out of sunlight, but I think I'm in the same position in terms of utilization. I already have a cloak of protection, and I would have to trade out to use it. So
It still might come in handy when we approach the drow or later.
Yeah,
Sorry,
that's
go ahead,
true.
Jeff.
Actually, let me have one that I'm going to wear until we're out of here.
Okay. So I will put 7 into the bag of holding, and Obsidian will use 1. Is that correct?
I think I had 6, so you'd put 5 in.
Okay.
Yeah, there are only 6 of them.
Okay. Then yeah, that's how we'll do it. 5 and 1.
What were you saying, Johnny? I'm sorry, I cut you off.
No, it was just I was going to say offer one to Cablis, but the thing is, she already blends into the background anyway, so it probably wouldn't do any good.
Yeah, and she won't touch. You make the attempt to offer anything drow made, and she just shakes her head.
Won't take it.
Yeah, that's close worth mine. One thing I did meant to say is I'm going to do we bring the posh what we think is illithid robes with us?
Yeah.
Yeah.
We took those.
Cool. Shrag's going to, at some point when we've got some downtime, we've been trying along, he's going to sketch one into his book, so we've got a record of it. And he's going to practice just turning his glamoured studded leather armor into effectively looking like one of those robes.
A tiny illithid?
You never know when it might come in handy. Just that bit of knowledge.
Never know.
And you'll also take a look at what the drow robes and obviously get a feel for them and sketch that as well. So we've got an idea of it.
Yeah, the robes and clothes are kind of like traveler and kind of like mundane stuff. You don't find any armor in the pile. And thinking about it, it's like, well, they're still wearing the armor, but
yeah, because they've lost their mind, haven't they? Yeah. Then they're running around butt naked.
And I'm going to reach in and take a second drow dagger as I'm contemplating the area we're going to next.
Yeah.
I have a thought.
Lots of thoughts.
Obsidian, while you're doing that, go ahead and both the Obsidian and Anarion, since you guys both said you took draw daggers, go ahead and roll an investigation check, please.
Ooh.
Yes.
Oh, I was going to use physical
My
dice. Dang it.
Haha. So 28.
Anarion, what'd you get?
Well, I was going to use physical dice, but I forgot and rolled on D&D Beyond, so I only got a 10.
Ugh.
I forgot.
I hopefully have enough investigation for the both of us.
Yeah.
All right.
Because I rolled a 15 on the physical die.
Between the two of you searching through this, you find 7 vials of drow poison.
Ah.
Ooh. Nice.
And the sheaths that have the daggers, you notice actually also have a compartment where
Like
the poison goes in.
Oh, well.
So that as long as the dagger's in the sheath, it's continually coated.
Got it.
Ooh.
4-3 split.
4-3 split.
Did Shrag take a dagger of the drow?
No. I just took the healer's kit and the hand crossbow.
Okay. So then, yeah, we'll do 4-3 split.
Cool.
So you do 4, I'll do 3. So 3.
Yes,
What
and
is
I
that?
have a
It's
special
poison
plan
vial
for
then,
some of
right?
these. Yes, and I have a special plan for a couple of these if I could use it.
Okay.
Yep.
Sorry.
You can tell, right?
Like, what more
Concentration
questions can I ask? I've got downtime after all this craziness. What can I ask?
Right.
Basically.
Well, I mean, there was one thing I wanted to investigate, and that was the troll collars.
Okay.
See if we can figure out how they function and if it's possible to like turn it back on if we need to, like utilize it.
Go ahead and roll an investigation check.
Okay.
And were
Can I give
these
myself-
broken off, or
Yeah, they were
like pulled off? Okay.
a lot like Kong
So
and
they're in
Godzilla
pieces.
vs. Kong. He just.
Okay.
So are they damaged?
Yes, they're torn. You see a couple of spots. You see the spot. There's a clasp and a hinge, and you see the hinges. Both the hinge and the clasp on a. How many did you take? You only took one, right? Or did you?
I
take
believe
more than
I
one?
only took one. Yeah, it says
The
in my
one you
call.
took has got kind of both the clasp is just completely shattered. The hinge is bent.
Okay. Well, let me roll or investigation anyway. That's dirty 10 with a D4 and a +6.
10
Okay.
total.
That's a 10.
Great
Alrighty.
roll.
Oh my.
You're not quite sure the specifics on how it worked, but you do see a couple of mechanisms built into the collar that look like they inflict some type of pain. How the mechanism works, you're not sure, but it's definitely kind of a hybrid between something arcane and something mechanical.
Okay.
So with the
Well, I did a
arcane
thorough
side of things,
investigation.
you could try roll an Arcana check to see if you can glean any more information.
Okay. I'm going to give myself guidance again. That's a lot better. That's 21.
One. The glyphs, you see there are a few glyphs in there. And the glyphs indicate something that are kind of in that school that lends to electricity. And there's a couple others with like kind of like a charm person type thing. So some way these have been crafted. The wearer of it would be kind of almost a perpetual charm person. And then if they really, and then there would be a deliverance of some type of electric shock if by whatever controls it.
Okay. So as I'm looking at it, I say this is a combination of many things. Some mechanical, some magical. It charms them and then punishes them if they don't follow instructions.
Great. Sounds like Shrag. What?
Unfortunately, Shrag couldn't even wear this as a belt.
Oh, that's funny.
It's like a hula hoop for him.
Yeah, completely ineffective.
I don't recommend using it as a hula hoop.
Shrag will stand there and put him around his waist and go, "Hey, does this thing make me look fat?"
I don't think that'll
Oh.
work for you, Greggy.
I'm gonna
All
go
right.
sit in a corner and sharpen the blades of the two new daggers that I have.
Okay. So anything else you guys wish to do as part of this this rest and downtime?
Shrag would like to scribe some of these scrolls he found into his book.
Okay.
Yes.
The ability I've got makes it only take like a couple of minutes per spell, but it's more the cost of the materials. Just have interest amongst all some of the materials and sort of spell component stuff in amongst the pile of stuff we found. Would any of that count towards the gold cost of materials for actually scribing spells? Bit of a reach, but worth a try.
Would you have a supply of parchments and inks?
I think with the scribing the stuff into the book, I can use my my quill that comes with it, and that makes it faster, but I still need to spend the gold pieces worth of materials for scribing spells. So obviously it's like 50 GPs worth of material per spell level.
Yeah, and that's typically implied like for parchments and inks and whatnot to do that. So
Yeah.
if you kept a pretty good stock of it, then you would have that. There isn't so much. There's a little bit of the. There's probably about 100 gold worth of parchments in the pile of stuff, which reflects that like there's maybe like a couple of gnome or dwarven kind of spellcasters that are now spore servants. No drow spellcasters and no drow females in any of the spore servants.
One of the things that I'll talk to Shrag about is I'll say, hey, Shrag, I know you need the parchment for your spells, but can I have a few for my origami?
Sure. Need to scribe this. I suppose it's yeah, I can't see it being an issue. So, I mean, there's probably about 100 gold's worth of stuff there to.
So I'll just take a few sheets so that I can use for my origami.
Like I said, the paper's less of an issue because I've got the book to put it into. It's probably more the inks and stuff. So
yeah, don't need inks.
Oh,
and then I'll go over and sit down next to Obsidian and start sharpening weapons and asking what they found in the lab, because I don't think I talked to him about that yet.
No, you haven't really had a chance to chit chat since so when y'all got up and started making ready, and Greg being impatient to want to play with volatile substances.
Yeah.
All right.
Sounds like his character. Yeah.
Oh, everybody's gonna have a hobby.
Everybody's got to have a hobby. Yeah. Yours is making things go boom.
So Shrag is sitting there looking through. Will is exploring the collar and some other things. You can sidle up next to Obsidian as he's sitting there figuring things out with these daggers.
Yeah, and I'll talk to him first about the laboratory and what they found in there.
Tell him about the 20 skulls that we found, and that 3 of them were human and demi-human, and they had some potions in them. And I'll pull one of them out. Yeah. Good.
As I say, those look pretty cool. Are they empty or full?
Some of them are full. Some of them have some agents, chemical agents, and some other stuff in them. I don't totally know what's in them.
Yeah,
so I figured when we get top side. But there are 3 here that are empty because they had just had some potions in it.
As I say, Will's probably more in line with the filled ones and what's in them and alchemy and all that. That's not my thing. But if you've got an empty one, I'll take one of the empties.
Yep. None of the skulls are empty. The skull is the vial that has the potion in it.
Oh, the vial. Okay. The
skull is the container.
Thank you.
So all of them have something in it?
Yes. All of them be based. When you picture the skull, flip it upside down. Now picture like where all the holes for the nose and the eyes is completely filled in with some kind of wax substance, to turning the skull effectively into a bottle or bowl, and then the top has been capped with something else. So each skull is in fact it's a container with some type of content. Some of them are dry, some of them are liquid.
I misunderstood.
Yeah.
Did we identify then what they were?
Yeah,
Most
so
of them
Shrag
are
has-
alchemical components. There are a few that were potions, and those potions
Yeah.
have been identified.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
I will hear them talking, and I'll take one of the skull with the oil of slipperiness in it, and I will pour the oil of slipperiness into one of my potion vials from my alchemical kit, and then like wipe out the skull and hand it to Anarion.
Oh, thank you, Will. And then I'll take it and put it into my bag of holding. Very, very unique storage container. I just thought that would be interesting to take a look at and hang
Here's
on to.
cork.
Thank you. Put a cork in it. Is that what you're trying to tell me?
Put a cork.
Wow.
No.
What a cork! That was funny.
It's nice to be somewhere moderately safe again.
That
It's
it
a long
is.
few days.
You say that as a hook horror walks by with a couple of Myconids.
Mostly safe.
Uh-oh.
Well, at least here the Myconids are controlling things.
Growing out of it.
Yeah, at least here the Myconids are controlling some of these dangerous things. Oh my.
Lots of fun things here.
And then when if I can tell that like nobody's really paying attention or they're wrapped up in kind of their own pursuits, I'll pull out the journal and pass it to Obsidian kind of surreptitiously and say, by the way, there's notes in here about something Black Network. I know you mentioned that to me at least once before.
There's notes in here from the Black Network.
Apparently.
Obsidian, as you read through that, you do find the passage that Anar is referring to, and that in the upper, it's actually a couple of sheets of paper that are kind of folded and put in there, and some notes are corresponding. But when you open and look at it, you see at the bottom there is a seal that was placed on the lower footnote, kind of like as a signature. That's an emblem, and you recognize the emblem as being the Black Network.
From what you told me before on our previous adventures, I wasn't sure if this was something you wanted the others to know about, or if you just wanted to keep it quiet for now.
When we get topside, we have got to investigate this, but I'm not going to bother them with this now, because that's going to require some conversations about a previous life I had.
Understood.
But this is an authentic seal from them, and if they ordered this is bad. I need to make a copy of these because I may have to show it to some people.
Yeah, feel free.
So I want to make a separate copy of the notes that we've already made a copy of. Who has a Xerox machine? We need a Xerox machine.
As you say that, Shrag will look up and go, paper, pen, and a quill will appear in his hand from nowhere. You want something in writing? Huh?
The original Xerox.
He even makes a noise like, while writing, you can even go, "Nyeh, nyeh, nyeh."
So while Anarion and Obsidian were talking about that, I had wandered away and started making some food.
Okay.
Because I'm sick of eating rations. I want something warm.
Yep.
Sounds like a plan.
Yeah.
Little fire pit area. There's some food. There's some ration pack. I wouldn't trust the ration packs out of what was in the pile of stuff.
Yeah, that's one thing probably we would not replenish from that stash.
No, not eating anything that was in that pile. No, I will use some of the leftover veggie pygmies because I have 5 pounds of that still. And then whatever mushrooms from my collection that I know are safe.
Okay. So you go through most of that.
Okay.
Do you mind if I hold on to this journal?
No, that's fine. I like I said, being that it had the black network, and from what you had told me from our previous adventuring, I didn't feel free to share this at this point without your permission.
And I'm going to basically be lost in thought the rest of the day.
Yep. You guys get your rest in. Follow late in the next day as kind of going through there. The Myconid King comes to your camp with a couple of with another Myconid, and you guys had asked if there was anything strange that they might have seen down below. He comes to he as he comes up to you. There is something you might be interested in. There are new creatures below that don't breathe.
Made of metal?
Yes.
What do they look like?
Unknown. Not seen. Well, not seen. One seems to carry the dead. It doesn't like to share.
So we described the cadaver collector that we saw before going into the area that we had encountered the cocoons in.
The second one kind of gives you an indication of understanding.
So that one matches.
Another one they describe is more like a scorpion.
Ugh.
Only made of metal and
Ugh.
larger than the cadaver collector.
Metal scorpion larger than a cadaver collector.
Or about the same. It's about the same size, but again, yeah, a scorpion is if you were to blow a scorpion up, it would be larger, but it would still be a large creature.
Would that
like
have ever been seen climbing on the walls?
Yes, scorpions can do that.
Righty then.
Oh, righty then.
But you get the indication that this is a recent development. Even Cablis is surprised at this information.
So, kind of out of it, but I'm going to turn to him. What are you doing to keep your people safe? Is there anything we can do to help?
They have not come up here. These have only been seen by our patrols. And we have
Are you worried they may?
Say again?
Are you worried they may come up here?
They seem... It's a possibility, but we don't worry about those things.
Do they seem to be attacking living creatures or just collecting the dead ones?
A couple of they don't really get any indication which one, but they have seen them around the dead. Because that's what the patrols do, is they go down looking for the dead to bring back up to make spore servants. Hence the recycle.
Mm-hmm.
And they didn't want to share.
Yeah.
They've been following us and just picking them right up after us. Excellent.
We're their greatest customers. Sure, they should work with us.
So it's probably safe to assume that they're attracted to the dead, but not afraid to attack something living that is nearby.
Is that a question or a statement?
Just a statement that I said to my team.
Okay.
Oh, I thought you were commenting to the Myconid King.
Oh, no. Oh, boy.
Certainly something to be aware of, as if there weren't enough problems down here already.
You say they're new creatures. When did you start seeing these?
They would have arrived. They first started being seen about a year ago.
A year ago.
And then recently, they've been seen more frequently at a greater distance.
What areas do they seem to patrol in? or seem to wander through?
They were first seen in this around the center of the city, and now they're being seen farther out.
Center of the city. I ask Cablis, can you pull out your map?
Was
then
that a map?
I will ask the king, can you show us where the origin point was, where these were first seen?
The smaller one kind of looks over and doesn't really understand the map per se. It just kind of gives you a vague kind of point. And as you look at it, the two routes, and she's got a fairly vague description of the city. He points at kind of a spot in between where you guys came up initially and where you came up and down for the cellar. So somewhere in the middle there is where they were first seen, and indicates that several of that they have been seen in a lot of the surrounding areas. That all seems to crisscross where you guys have been, just at various points.
Okay.
Interesting. Well, we might have to pass that way to either get to the Drow or the Kuatoa. But first we need to return to the Duragar, right? Bring Cablis home?
She's a deep gnome. She's a Snibblevan.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right. Verf Neblin, not the Duragar.
She's
Right.
she kind of nods, is like, this is new information that the Enclave should know about.
Okay. As soon as we're done resting, I guess we should head back that way. What do you guys think?
Would Cablis be safe to stay here? I'll ask the Myconid King.
As long as she's not a threat.
And I'll ask Cablis, would you want to stay here, or do you want to return back to your people quickly? Because we still have to go get the other two pieces of the shards, so we could use your guidance if you're still willing to go with us.
That was the agreement. I would be your guide. I'm
Okay.
not particularly fond of Drow, but if that's where you go.
Well, and again, we wouldn't ask you to come in and fight with us against them, but at least lead us to where we can get to them. And then, like as we did with the Illithids, you can hide while we go and take care of things, and then we will come back and meet with you again.
She takes a look at the map and goes, if we went back down the same way we went for the mind flayers, only this time go north, it would probably be the fastest way to get to Drow.
Okay.
Unless you want to go back to the Enclave and then try to walk across.
Yeah, no, that's what I was trying to avoid. I didn't think that we would want to go back to the Enclave at this point, since it's kind of backtracking from where we want to be. I do want to ask one question. Cablis, on your map here, it's showing a stair in that Drow area. Do you know anything about that stairwell?
Or how about ask the Myconid King?
I'm wondering if we could go above ground, or not above ground, but above the city in the Myconid region to reach that other stairwell, which appears to be kind of between two of the Drow enclaves that you've noted here on your map, Cablis.
Oh, okay. That's the one you're talking about. The Myconid King kind of listens to the description and goes, not sure we can get to that. I don't think it extends up here.
Okay. That's good to know. So what we will do then in terms of planning is return through the Myconid forest or Myconid garden down to the stairwell that we went to go to the mind flares, and instead of going south, then we go north. Is that what I'm understanding?
Yeah.
Okay.
And I can contact the Enclave magically if you'd like, so we can get them this information sooner rather than later. I just have to rest first and commune with my god.
Yeah, if you want to take a couple of days to send the message along that, you could do that, and then make your way to the
and I
over
think
to that area to start the next leg.
we could probably do that.
Because by now you've had a chance to rest, kind of work through things, so you are fairly fresh in the fact you've had a long rest, as you've just been kind of milling about camp for the better part of the day.
Okay. Well, then can I say I had prepared sending that morning? No, because I didn't know I was going to need it. That makes sense.
What time frame are we talking about to go from the Myconid King stairs to the downstairs to the Illithid area?
That took I believe that took 2 days of travel. A day to walk across, a day to get to the Illithid. And then
So
roughly 2 days roundabout, depending on the base.
So and again, so from stairwell to stairwell only, that would be a day.
Three quarters of a day, yes.
So why don't we do this planning wise then? We can go from stairwell to stairwell, and then we'll camp like we did last time up in the Myconid Gardens. Take the long rest so that Will can get her sending spell, and then the next morning she can send the spell to the Enclave for the deep gnomes, and then we can start going down that next morning.
Yep.
Does that sound reasonable?
Yes, sir.
Sounds like a plan.
And then we have to prepare to face Drow.
Yep.
Yeah. So there's this new spell that my god was telling me that she can teach me. It's called Dawn. And
Well, your god's called Dawn.
I think that's a wonderful spell already.
it is
I miss the sunshine.
it is considered sunlight, but it is a 30-foot radius sphere, and I cannot control who is affected within it. Just so you know the parameters.
And how long does it last?
1 minute.
Okay.
And I would need a sunburst pendant worth at least 100 gold pieces in order to cast it.
Which
I
you
think
don't
we
have.
I think that's going to be the challenge.
Yeah.
Yes.
And okay, so I have Tinker's tools and 100 gold pieces. Could I melt down 100 gold pieces and attempt to make this myself?
First question. We can totally do this, right? As our closing bit. First you would need to make a history check.
Okay.
For knowledge, or just an intelligence check.
Okay.
You need to know if you recognize the pendant that's described by your god as the necessary requirement for the spell.
Okay.
So that'll be the first thing. We'll go history for your research and reading as a cleric.
Can I guide myself?
Of course.
Okay. Okay. I'm scared. That's well, it's a 15.
You have an idea of what a sun pendant looks like.
Okay.
Not the full intricacies of a finely crafted one, but you've seen one in a book.
As a paladin, how familiar would I be with her deity?
Roll a religion check.
It is an Eberron deity. I don't know if that makes any difference.
For me, it would not.
It's essentially Palor, right?
Yeah, it's not Palor though. It's the Dol. Her name is Dol Ara.
Many
think-
religions, it's a lot like the Romans and the Greeks. It's the same god, just a different name.
I was going to
Different name.
say,
Okay.
I think
That's,
that one
that's
I would
essentially
be,
how this works. Different regions refer to them by different names, but they're essentially at the core, that's what they are.
Okay. Cool.
that would be
Keeps it
that
interchangeable.
would be someone
makes
I
it
would be
easier.
familiar with.
Okay. Okay, lore.
The dawn.
So that is going to be a 12.
You know that the names kind of intermix, that this is the deity, but not a whole lot of the intricacies of it.
Would I have heard about this pendant thing that she's describing?
Yes, you would have heard about the pendant. Again, not 100% sure the finer intricacies of it, but definitely familiar with the concept of the pendant.
Based on that, what I'm trying to see is if I can help her to help give her advantage on her rolls.
You certainly can. Certainly offer the advantage on that. I'll let you try that. All right.
Go for it.
Well,
Anarion, can you help me make this?
I can give you the knowledge I have, of course.
He can certainly try.
Right?
here we
I
go.
knew that was coming.
Yeah.
Anarion and I basically sit down and have a brainstorming session for a little while.
Now, do you have any kind of smith's tools to be able to melt down the gold? Because tinker's tools is like intricate, like watchmaking type stuff, not necessarily stuff for smelting gold.
I had a poisoner's kit.
Hey, we could have found, and again, this is going to be DM call, but we could have found some smith's tools amongst all of that.
Oh,
Detrius, that was the
We could go
adventuring
back.
gear.
That's completely plausible. Go ahead and roll it. I assume we're talking about this before we leave the Myconids camp.
Yes.
So go ahead and roll an investigation to look through the refuse to see if you find a set of smith's tools. Since I did say they were dwarven
Indeed.
things in there.
I rolled an 8.
I rolled a 15
Yeah,
investigation
gonna
plus
cast
2,
guidance.
17.
Okay, you don't need guidance.
17?
Yeah.
Yes, you do find a set of a mostly complete set of smith's tools in there. And but but the thing is now you need to create something to allow you to melt down the gold. So you need some kind of forge or smelting pot or something to do this.
Shrag, Mr.
Yeah.
Fireball Man, Mr. Firebolt Man,
Hello?
how are you at forge type things?
What do you mean, forge?
We need a really, really hot fire.
He
It'd be
sees
nice
like
to have a
eyes.
forge cleric at this point now, wouldn't it?
It would.
You see his
Yeah.
eyes
It'd be
widen.
nice to have the fabricate spell for that matter.
I could have almost.
Yeah, that would totally end your problem.
I know, right? So yeah, I'll talk to Shrag and see if we can't figure out a way to make a forge so that we can help the preparation and creation of what Will needs.
Obsidian, are you paying attention to any of this conversation? Is there anything you wish to contribute to the endeavor?
Obsidian is kind of in his own little world, thinking about the journal.
Okay.
And he will offer that he has druidcraft, so he'll put a little flame in his hand.
Do I remember?
Just kind of half listening, but he goes, "This probably isn't hot enough for what you need," and dispels it.
Do I remember some of his skills?
Yes, from that time you reconfigured that base in the Shadowfell.
Yeah.
He has this uncanny ability to
I'm gonna elbow him in the ribs and say, "Hey, Obsidian, we need some smith skills to put together a forge so that we
Got
can
it.
make something for Will."
Got it. I know what you need. I'm going to take a short rest. And
you see him again completely zone out for
Well,
about an
that
hour or so.
yes. And when I come back, I'm switching survival to Smith's tools, right? Is that what you want me to do?
Yep. You're
That's the
essentially
right one.
learning.
Masons.
No, we need Smiths,
You
I
need
think.
Smith
Yep.
abilities.
Yeah.
Yep, that's what I figured.
All
All right, I'm ready to work. What can I do for you?
You need to construct a forge or smelting pot.
All righty, let's get to work.
Okay.
All
I'll
right,
help.
Go ahead and roll that Smith tools check.
Guidance.
Now that you are proficient in
I'm.
them.
Oh, yes. Trust me, I was going to do the same thing. Smith tools. So D20 plus proficiency, right? I'm assuming.
Yep. And yeah, the tool allows you proficiency. I believe that's a strength based or dex based.
The Smith typically is strength unless you're making a finesse type weapon.
And this would be making a piece of jewelry effectively, so that would be dexterity. So dex plus proficiency.
Plus the D4.
Plus guidance.
Plus guidance, yeah.
So 23.
All righty.
Hey.
You're able to find a way using some rocks, some zerkwood, and some bits, able to create a smelter area, and so you can smelt down the gold to make attempt to make a sun pendant. So the gold is smelted. While that's done, Will and Anari, you're going to make an attempt to craft the mold for this this pendant based on your shared knowledge. So that's going to be again a dex check with your tinker's tools to get the the details for the mold.
Okay, and to help them with that one,
Okay.
the drawing they've done of it to help create the mold, I'm going to take it they've done a fairly detailed drawing of it. I'm going to use prestidigitation to create a non-magical trinket. So I'm going to make a non-magical version of the amulets that basically only lasts a short period of time. It lasts until the end of my next term. I'm going to use that to allow them to actually use that to form the mold.
All righty.
Sweet.
That will definitely make this interesting.
Cool.
Oh, would his tome have an idea of what the pendant looks like so that he could create a more accurate trinket?
I don't know. Does Shrag ask Nat about this particular thing?
I can look at the drawing and the sketch they've made so far, and I'll look at her and sort of say, well, you know about that? It's a bit rough. I mean, I could do better, but they tried. See if she comes up with anything.
Like jewelry.
Yeah.
She looks it over, kind of gives you a nod, and then go ahead and roll your intelligence check.
Ooh. Oh yeah.
How smart you be.
That's 19. Add 5, 24.
Oh.
You flip you get the book and you do that connection with Nat. You open up to a page and take their drawing and compare it, and it's about half right. So you then show them the image, and you adjust your trinket accordingly for their mold. So, Will, go ahead and roll that check with advantage.
Okay.
Dex plus Tinker's Tools.
Okay. And just for flavor, I have a random gem worth 10 gold pieces. I'm just going to put that in the middle just to make it a little prettier.
Okay, to set it.
Yeah. Okay. So sorry, you said a dexterity check?
I'm going to make you do a dex because it's a jewelry thing essentially, and you can use your Tinker's Tools because that's what you have on hand to try and make the mold using Shrag's pendant that he prestidigitated.
Okay. So that'll be a D20 plus my dex plus my proficiency.
And don't forget advantage.
Alrighty.
And advantage.
For the help.
And
guidance.
Guidance.
Okay. D20 plus a D4. Well, let's do the D20 first. Okay. So the 20, that's a 3. And an 11. So 11 plus 8 is 19. plus a D4, and that went off my screen, so I can't see it. So that's a
The
4,
four.
so that's a 23.
Nice. You're able to put together a mold, getting the supplies, getting the carving, and getting a good press on that. So everything looks good. At this point, Obsidian is done with the smelting. Pulls over the little smelting cup that he was able to compile together for this. You're able to pour the gold into the mold, and after a little while, when it cools, you're able, and you kind of pull it away, and it's a little rough, but it is pretty good likeness to what's in Shrag's book. So you now have a sun pendant. Needs a
Guys,
little
this is
polish and clean up,
beautiful.
but you can mess with that on the walk. So you go ahead and add that to your inventory.
Thank you so much, everybody. I really couldn't have done this without you. This is really cool. You guys are the best.
Hey guys, team effort. Yeah, go
That
team
was a-
Shadow Watch.
Very good team effort for
That
sure.
was amazing. I really couldn't have asked for a better team to get that done. Okay, sunburst pendant. And it may just save all of our butts when we're fighting the dark elves.
I'm thinking.
Or at
Hopefully.
least we can see. At least we can see the end coming.
Yeah. Yeah.
What's that noise in the darkness? Bloom, daylight. Oh, I think we shouldn't see that now.
It'd have been better to stay in the dark.
Yeah.
Alrighty, and with that, we're gonna call this session ended.
Yay!
We'll pick back up not next weekend, but the weekend after. Because I'm again going to the DMV next Saturday morning, and that could be 2 hours, it could be 6 hours, where my son's doing his driver's test again. I'm gonna try to get a real ID. Plus, we have to re-register a new car. So, and with COVID and everything, you had to schedule appointments out. We scheduled this appointment in February.
Wow.
So
Wow. Yeah,
Yeah.
why don't we just say next Saturday so you don't have to worry about
Yeah,
it.
so you don't stress. Just skip it.
Yeah. You don't need to add more stress to a day at the DMV.
Yeah. Amen to that.
that's fair. That's fair.
Hey, and Steve, I don't know.
I appreciate
know-
your willingness to run a session after that, but
And I
Sorry,
don't
go
know
ahead,
if they, I don't know if they do that in your state, but here in California at the DMV, you can also register so that your real ID shows your veteran status. So I'd encourage you to do that if they offer that for you out there.
My challenge is going to be whether or not they accept my birth certificate. Because I don't have
Right.
a traditional birth certificate. I have a copy of my certificate of live birth because I was not born in the United States.
Right.
right.
So if they give me grief over that, then that is a whole nother challenge. I may not have a real ID, which means I may not be able to fly domestically until I get my passport.
Yeah, I got my real ID, and there are alternatives to birth certificates, but I don't know what you have available. But
yeah, but I have my veteran ID because the state did do the veteran ID, so I have that, and then some of the other stuff. But we're gonna be my wife is handling getting all the paperwork together because
yeah.
that's the thing she wants to. She's kind of has ownership on. I'm like, okay, do we have this stuff? Are we ready for this stuff? Are we ready for this? Because I'd hate to go down there and find out we're missing something or something. But then again, it's the DMV, so I think that's one of the few things in The Simpsons they get right is how much of a complete soul-crushing experience it is to go to the DMV.
Yeah.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Nope.
I love the way that Zootopia did the DMV with the sloths all working there. That was perfect.
Nothing beats the end scene when they pull over the speeder and it turns out it's him.
Yes. Well, that was a really fun session.
Good times. Good
Indeed.
times.
Mystery, some intrigue, some character development stuff.
Yeah, now I got to go look at archetypes.
Yeah. Yeah, we've got some leveling up to do. That's exciting. I'm excited that our proficiency bonus went up. That'll help with everything.
So thank you everyone who watched. If you're watching this live or watching this on VOD, thank you for finishing the video. You're awesome and amazing. Remember, if you enjoyed the content, please hit the like button, hit the subscribe, and hit the bell notification so you'll be notified when more videos come out. Tonight, 8 p.m. Eastern, is going to be challenge accepted. The party is going to be moving in their direction, whichever that may be. So we'll see how that goes. Sunday with Scoob tomorrow at noon Eastern here on this YouTube channel. I'm going to paint something. I think I'm going to go back to the Warhammer and get my Dark Angels finished off. I've got a bunch of bolters and stuff to work on, so I'll probably be doing Dark Angels for a little while to work on that. Tuesday is going to be Scoob and the Rye, where we chat about games, movies, and all kinds of other things. As a reminder, during Sunday with Scoob, I do have a Discord channel open for different Patreon levels, as well as all of my cast are welcome to jump in and ask questions and just kind of hang out. If anyone's up that early or up that late, depending on which part of the world you're living in. That being said, again, a thank you to Sirenscape for the background music and soundboards, and a thank you to Stream Beats for the stuff that we're hearing at the beginning and the end to kind of chill and relax a little bit for the music. I wish you all a wonderful afternoon, a wonderful evening. Enjoy your weekend and stay safe. And with that, we will see you on our next stream. Good night, everybody.
Bye.